Chick-fil-A's new Jalapeno Ranch Club. Available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. On Odyssey Station, best Giants talk in the Bay is on 95.7 The Game. Reaction to every pitch.
Miller throws. He got him with the fastball. Miller's pointing at all the Reds.
Every home run.
High drive! Left field! Out of here!
And every big play.
A little slow roller. Chapman. Barehand. Got it!
It's your fix for Giants baseball.
It is a dream come true, but it's a very recent dream.
The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap.
If the Giants can find a way to survive this inning and get to the 10th, Eldridge would lead off. That one deep to left. I don't think they survived. It's gone and the game is over. Tovar with a 2-run homer. And the Giants get walked off here at Coors Field. A home run barrage in the late innings. And the Rockies will celebrate an 8-6 victory.
I am rooting against the Giants.
Hello there, everyone. Welcome into the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. That was Dave Fleming on the call there as the Giants get walked off against the Rockies at Coors Field last night, falling 8-6. And yeah, that's Coors Field for you. I mean, it doesn't help that the team isn't very good, but that's Coors Field for you. It'll taketh, and it'll taketh, and it'll taketh, and it'll rarely giveth. But man, when it taketh, it really hurts. Again, this is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. My name is Sam Lohman, and joining me as always, Dan Devone on this very foggy, gloomy, sad Giants day. Oh, sorry, no, San Francisco morning. I thought I was talking about the Giants there. Dan, I'd be honest, I've gone to bed after a lot of Coors Field walk-offs. That one, like all the other ones, really, really stung.
Didn't you feel it was imminent though?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you feel?
No, when that ball at the start of the inning, who's our guy that hit it there? Caleb Killian comes in. Poor Caleb Killian on that one there. But yeah, bomb the ninth inning starts off with the Jake McCarthy hits a little dribbler to first, and Rafi Devers is about to play it perfectly at first base, step in the bag, one out. All right, we're on our way. It bounces off the corner of the base.
And you just like, here we go.
And the second that happened, it's like, yep, we all know what's about to happen here. It was a fun ride while it lasted, but we're not going to win this game. And then sure enough, it just snowballs after that. Another base hit. You know, TJ Rumfield flies out to Jung-Hoo Lee, but then Hunter Goodman, the one actually good hitter, along with Ezequiel Tovar in that Rockies lineup, just cranks one out the left field. And such is Coors Field.
I asked you this, but do you think Devers could have been a little more aggressive? And I'm not looking to assign blame, certainly not on him. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's one of those ones. I mean, you play that play 1,000 times, Dan. If you have that little dribbler go down the first base line 1,000 times, 999 times, it's bouncing up over the base into his glove, and he steps on the bag, and we're all living happily ever after, you know. And in all the alternate timelines out there, that's probably what happens. But unfortunately, we live in the worst timeline, so we got to experience what happened yesterday. I guess maybe he could have, but I don't know. That's just such a fluke play there. The ball bouncing off the base that sometimes you only just have to blame baseball. But when you're a team that's as bad as the Giants, it's hard to not just blame the baseball because you're working with a team that's just so unfathomably bad.
Well, you know what though, Sam? I think that was one of their best games that they had played up until, they blew it. Up until, aside from the bullpen. And the bullpen wasn't bad until you got to Killing, right? But that might have been one of the better games that the Giants have played all year long. And I really mean that. Defensively, they were sound. They were manufacturing runs. They were getting deep into counts. I thought Bryce Eldridge played his best game. Jung-Hoo Lee was so special. It was just like a really well-played baseball game on the part of the Giants until that.
No, I'll be honest. This is why this one kind of stings a little bit, and this is why I hate Coors Field. I legitimately thought the Giants were going to win that game. Like, I legitimately did. They're up, at one point, 6-1, 6-2 or whatever. Yeah, they're up 6-1 at one point. They're up 4-1. They get the Tovar home run. They give up the Tovar home run in the bottom of the 8th inning. And then they bounce back with 2 more runs in the 9th inning. Rafi Devers gets that triple there. And you're thinking, all right, they're answering. They're doing what you're supposed to do at Coors Field, which is adding to your lead. They're responding. You're feeling, upbeat and positive about that. But this is the problem when you have a bullpen that, again, I don't think it's the worst bullpen in Giants history. It's not a great bullpen. I don't think it's the worst bullpen in the league. I definitely think it's in the bottom half of the league. But, there's pieces in this bullpen. But pieces of a bullpen is not enough, especially at Coors Field. And it doesn't matter how good of a bullpen you have. You're always at risk for one of these Coors Field games. But no, I legitimately thought they were going to be able to pull that off last night. And
I never felt comfortable. I never feel comfortable in Colorado. Never, ever. Even when they were up, I hear what you're saying. And when they answered with the Devers triple, it's still like, yeah. And then
you always want to add more. That's the thing. You always need to be adding more.
It's so precarious. Like, I never, ever, ever feel comfortable unless you're up by it's 11-0. And there's 2 outs in the ninth.
I'm still a little bit worried even when you're up 11-0. But no, it gets the bullpen last night. They were solid. Gage comes in, gets Logan Webb out of the jam. Joel Peguero comes in, gets a couple outs, and then
Miller was good.
Miller was good. And again, Tony Vitello did the thing that I'm really not liking this year where he brings a reliever in to end the inning and then sends him back out to start the next inning.
Miller came back out for the...
So what was it? So Gage finished the 5th. Peguero comes in for the 6th, gets a couple outs. Liked what I saw from Peguero. He did give up a hit, but again, the dude was just pumping straight gas.
103 on the clock.
Oh my God, he was just dealing last. I wanted him to finish that 6th inning. I thought he was pitching pretty well there. But you bring him in to get Chad Stevens. Miller gets the ground out there, and again, Miller's a big guy. He can handle a sizable workload. But yeah, then he sends him out from the bottom of the 7th, and he gives up the leadoff double to Jake McCarthy. He gets a couple more outs, and then Keaton Winn comes in, finishes the 7th inning, and then pitches the whole 8th inning. I'm not a fan of the whole bridging relievers across innings strategy that they've been doing. I don't think players
are, because they're just not wired that way. Mm-hmm. You think about yourself as being specialized, right? So you're coming in for that one inning, and then to go back out, it's just your whole mindset is just completely thrown off, I think.
And that's on top of the fact that you have a bullpen that still doesn't have any set roles, and part of that is because you have a bullpen that doesn't have set talent, I guess, so to speak. But again, I thought last night you threw probably your best relievers at the Rockies last night, if I'm being real. Joel Peguero, again, he's got the stuff to, I think, be a very good reliever. Got to get the command down. I think he's working on that. He looked great last night. Eric Miller, I think, is probably your most dependable reliever in this bullpen just because of how long he's been here, how long we've seen him be a good reliever. I don't think he's a best reliever in the bullpen kind of guy, but he's still a very good reliever. Keaton Winn, I think, has shown a lot of great stuff this year. I love that splitter of his. I've said over and over again, I think it's the best swing and miss pitch that the Giants bullpen has. And then Caleb Killian, who, again, they're trying to work him out as the closer. I don't think he is a closer.
Not after last night.
No, I don't. It's just, I'm just not seeing it with him. I would rather go back to trying Keaton Winn as the closer rather than Caleb Killian. But those 5 guys, for the most part, who pitched last night out of your bullpen, those have been the relievers who you've kind of been able to put your most faith in this year. And they just, again, a couple of them did the job. 3 of them did the job. Keaton Winn got rocked a little bit, and then, of course, with Caleb Killian. But that's the problem. It's like your best relievers still, at the end of the day, just aren't good enough.
And even the outs were loud with him last night.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not leave Logan Webb out of the equation because there is one shining bright light. I thought he was effective. And he threw a lot of pitches, but it's good to see Logan Webb back. And it was good to see, obviously, the week or 10 days he had off obviously set him on the right path because he looked good. Unfortunately, he had a limited pitch count, so he couldn't go very far, which is why I think, to your point, they had to be a little early in getting into the pen than they would have liked, which eventually led to I mean, I kind of giggled, at the end. I was just like, really, this is just, I mean, how many times have we sat here and said, well, it's a new rock bottom.
Oh, you see, this is, I'm glad you brought that up, Dan, because that's one of my least favorite phrases when it comes to Giants baseball, not because of how sad being at rock bottom is. The amount of people who I saw tweet out, and again, Twitter is not real life, as Tony likes to remind us, the amount of people who I saw put out some version of rock bottom on Wednesday after Willy Adames got thrown out at home plate and Hector Borg, who was reassigned before yesterday's game, sent him home, the last thing he'll ever do as a third base coach for the San Francisco Giants. The amount of rock bottoms I saw on that day, and then those same people posting that same rock bottom thought again last night. It's like, no, you can't have 2 rock bottoms in the same week.
Twitter is not life.
Like, thank you, Coach. Like, we use rock bottom so often that I feel like we've forgotten what it means. Like, people, there's so much baseball left this season. It's not even June. Damn, the calendar says May. We still got a whole ass other day to get through before we can say it's June. And we're saying it's rock bottom. No, there are so many more rock bottoms we're going to hit.
So you're saying we can go actually lower than
this?
Dan,
there's always a new bottom. That's Giants baseball. There's always a new bottom.
How about getting swept this weekend?
Oh, well, how about getting swept this weekend? Then who's going to be waiting for us on Monday?
Oh, no.
Kyle Harrison, the Milwaukee Brewers. Yeah. I mean, I said it. He's going to strike out Rafi Devers 3 times on Monday. Like, Liz, you want to talk about the rock bottom?
He's getting into double digits in strikeouts. His numbers are amazing.
No, I'm predicting 8 innings, 12 strikeouts, 1 hit for Kyle Harrison on Monday. And then you think that rock bottom's bad. We still got a road trip through Atlanta and Miami coming up. Those never go well for the Giants.
I think the Giants' hitting has been much better over the last month.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, you're seeing your guys start to hit a little bit up to expectation. Willy Adames hitting .317 over the last couple weeks. Rafi Devers is looking a lot more like Rafi Devers. Matt Chapman's drawing walks. Bryce Eldridge drew 2 walks last night?
Bryce Eldridge, that was his most impressive game.
Yeah.
Bryce Eldridge, you just look at, that's a baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell you can sit him on this baseball team? I hope we're over that, right? Like, he's playing every day. I don't care if it's left-handers. And he drew a walk against a left-hander. And his swings, I don't want to sound like that guy, but, I mean, his swings on a left-hander, albeit he was fouling him off, but he was right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
His timing, that dude is so impressive.
Like, keep him in the lineup. They have a way to keep him in the lineup every day right now. Eventually, they're going to have to figure this crunch out again when Elliot Ramos comes back. That's still a few weeks away. Because that's what we're basically going to be doing the rest of the year, Dan, is we're going to be fishing for reasons to be positive about this team. And Bryce Eldridge is right now one of the only few things that you can look to and be like, if I'm trying to find positivity, that's where it's going to come from, because that's the future there.
But you can see the maturity.
Yes.
Like, you can just see it in his eyes and the way it's slowing down for him, and he's beginning to time these pitches. You can see the swing. That dude is just, he's going to break out. How about this?
I thought he had some, just the vision he showed at the plate there last night, Dane, talk about the at-bats he had. Like, he had some really good takes last night on some borderline pitches that, like, some of the veteran hitters on this team chase after some of the pitches that he was able to lay off of last night. Like, give me more of that, what I saw from Bryce last night.
This just jumped into my head. What about Elliot Ramos as the 4th outfielder now?
I see nothing wrong with that.
Because you need one.
I mean, you can't play the whole, well, that's Ramos' spot. He's earned it. He's an all-star. He was an all-star a couple of years ago. I feel like that shine's kind of faded off. Or how about, I mean, maybe Harrison Bader becomes your fourth outfielder. Bader, by the way.
You put Elliot Ramos in center field?
Well, I would put Jung-Hoo Lee probably back in center field in that situation.
You're going to put him in right field?
And then put Ramos in right. I think Ramos might
be kind of scary.
I mean, listen, right field's a tougher position at Oracle Park than most right fields in terms of how you have to play the caroms and stuff like that. But Ramos, I think, originally came up as a right fielder.
I know he did. He's still not very good.
Yeah, so, I mean, you could put him over there. It's a more natural position. Then you got Jung-Hoo Lee back in center. And Jung-Hoo Lee, how about his night? 4 hits, 2 great catches out there. The one against the fence and
how about when he slid?
The sliding one in the lights. Yeah, that might have been one of the catches of the year.
And both of those, I want to say, they had runners on. There was like 2 men on when he did that.
No, he bailed Logan Webb out with the catch against the fence, and then Matt Gage was about to give up Logan Webb's night, basically. Gage had a couple runners on there. Yeah. And when that ball got hit off the bat, I'm like, there's no way Matt just blew this. And I like Matt Gage a lot. I got to know him a little bit in spring training. Nice guy. He's a guy I root for. And I let my emotions get a little too tied into some of these players. He's one of them. When he gave up that hit, I'm like, oh, no way. I can't see my guy get rocked like this. Then Jung-Hoo gets that catch. It was like, oh, thank the Lord for Jung-Hoo Lee.
It makes a difference when you see a good right fielder return. Defense is so key, but he was so huge offensively as well, taking what the offense is given when he went the other way.
Going the other way a lot more.
And now, you're seeing them be a little bit more active on the base paths, right? Like you're seeing them put more pressure. Mm-hmm. And he was taking off on every other pitch. They're they're at least trying to put pressure on the defense. But yeah, I like the idea of Elliot Ramos as your fourth outfielder because that's something they just don't have. I mean, if Casey Schmidt continues to play well and he seems to be okay in left field, the one thing you don't have is that fourth outfielder. It seems as though when you need someone to play an outfield position, it gets really, really weird with the Giants. You got, catchers going out there and then these guys called up that I've never heard of. It'd be nice just to have a rotational guy like that of Elliot Ramos.
What was that, Risotto? You just whispered in my ear?
I was just going to say big bat off the bench, too. It seems like they don't have that either.
Right. Well, I mean, they got to use the bench, first off. I mean, the Giants, I think they looked up the other day, they have 35 pinch hit plate appearances, which is, I want to say, I wrote it down somewhere, like 25th in the league, 26th in the league or something like that. Like, the bench usage is non-existent. So, I don't know, maybe a guy like Ramos on the bench makes it easier to go to your bench. I don't know, but it's part of the reason, Dan, why this team they've scored the fewest runs in baseball, but they've also by a wide margin scored the fewest runs in the 7th inning or later of baseball games. And part of that, I believe, is because and Steven Risotto, he brought this up on the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast the other day, episode 167 out now. Go listen wherever you listen to your podcasts. He's like, the Giants are the easiest team to game plan for because they don't mix things up. They don't use their bench. You don't have to really think all that much about your matchups late in the game because you know who's going to be in. Like, utilize the bench a little bit. Try and mix things up late in innings so you can start getting back into these games. But this is probably the reason why the Giants are like 0-16 or something like that in games which they're trailing after the 6th inning.
I think that's part of it. Is also that if Devers is going to be that guy, if Adames is going to be that guy, whether it's Chapman, you got to do it in those innings you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the difference between being that guy or just somebody who is getting paid and has decent numbers, but who is the thumper that comes up when you need it, that carries a team, that late in the game that is going to give you the big blow, that's going to give you the home run, that's going to walk it off, somebody that late in the game that becomes reliable. And no one on that Giant team has reared their head, despite the fact that you have good, bona fide, proven baseball players on that team offensively. No one has taken over the reins as being the go-to guy. Late in games, that I got this, the Will Clark, the Buster Posey mentality.
Mm-hmm. Your closer's base, the guy who's going to put this team on the bat. And I think, Dan, a perfect example of this, you have guys who should be stepping up. They're just simply not. And you look at the 5th inning, you got Casey Schmidt doubling with 1 out. You got a runner in scoring position with 1 out. Rafi Devers and Matt Chapman strike out back-to-back to end the inning. Those are your guys who, again, it's the 5th inning. It's not late in games, but when you got 1 out and a runner in scoring position, you got 2 of your, high-priced hitters, your veteran hitters coming up. You have to execute there. Like, I get baseball's hard, hitting the baseball's hard and stuff like that, but struggling or no, you need your guys to come through in that inning. In the 6th inning, Jung-Hoo Lee singles. And then you get Susak flies out. Bryce Eldridge walks. You got Jung-Hoo Lee now on second. Again, runner in scoring position. Less than 2 outs. Bader strikes out. Willy Adames strikes out. Veteran hitters who you brought in to produce not stepping up in the situations where you need them. And Willy Adames, unfortunately, he's kind of an unfair poster child for this. How many of his 7 home runs this year, Dan? All of them have been solo home runs. And I think only a couple of them have actually come in close games. It seems like a lot of his home runs come in games in which the Giants are either way ahead or way behind. You're getting numbers, but you're getting them at the wrong times. And you don't trust your big bats in the high leverage situations. It's just the issues with this team. They manifest every day, and they compound, they compound, they compound every single night. It's just a reminder of just how wildly flawed this roster is.
But I think the offense was good last night. I didn't have any issues with the way they played that game. Now, I know, obviously, you'd like to get those hits that you referred to, but they did come up big, as you mentioned. Devers did redeem himself with that big triple. They got big knocks. Jung-Hoo Lee, as you talked about, was huge. Eldridge was good. He had an RBI. And so the offense was good enough. And they also, early on in that game, it wasn't Coors Field, but they were manufacturing runs. I believe they had 2 sacrifice flies.
3 sack flies,
3
actually.
sack flies?
Yeah.
And they were moving guys, and they were getting... I liked the patience at the plate. Last night was not about the offense. Yeah, you would like to score more than 6 runs at Coors Field, but it was a well-played game until the back end of that rotation of the bullpen, or the back end of that bullpen fell apart. And that continues to be a problem. And I don't know, what's the solution?
I mean, you could start calling guys up from the minor leagues. I mean, there are guys in this bullpen who, again, I know the results say they're all bad, but I still contend the guys who you pitched out of the bullpen last night, I'm keeping those guys on this team because I've seen them perform well enough at times where it's it's not a perfect bullpen. I'm going to roll with it. But there are guys who didn't pitch last night, like Ryan Borucki, one of the 4 lefties this team has. You don't need 4 lefties. You can go with just Gage and Miller as your bullpen and then bring 2 other guys up from AAA who you can feel more confident in. I don't know who those guys are. Maybe it's Spencer Bivens. Maybe it's Blade Tidwell. Maybe it's Carson Seymour. Again, he's kind of more of a long guy.
Isn't Wisenhunt playing? I know he's a starter, but he's doing well, isn't he?
I'll have to look that up at the break. Last I saw, he had an ERA in the 4s, though. Still, again, though that's at the hitting friendly Pacific Coast League. So you take some of those numbers with a grain of salt. I think Steven Risotto, though, he can answer that question for us.
He's made 10 starts and he's got a 3.21 ERA in 53 innings.
All right, so he's trending in a positive
56
direction.
strikeouts.
Okay, I'll take that. I don't know, maybe you bring Gregory Santos up. Maybe you go down for Dylan Smith. These are the other relievers who are in AAA but still on your 40-man roster. You need to get arms in there that you trust. You really do. And the fact of the matter is Giants don't have a bullpen full of enough arms that you trust. And the arms that you do trust, they're just not good enough to be trustworthy on a night-to-night basis.
I guess isn't that the one thing that you can sort of pin on Buster? A lot of this is conjecture, but the bullpen...
I think you can blame way more than the bullpen on Buster, but the bullpen is one that Buster absolutely wears.
I mean, that's a little bit more linear.
Yeah.
Your bullpen is missing at least a guy or 2, but yet we're just going to start the season this way? I mean, you knew it going in. Everything else was, okay, again, the team didn't hit. I guess you could put that on Buster. I mean, he's the guy who put the roster together, but a lot of that, as I said yesterday, that's on Devers and Adames and Chapman. But when it comes to the bullpen, to me, there's more of a connective tissue. Hey, man, anybody could have forewarned you that this was going to happen.
And there were options out there that they could have gone out and gotten to.
Were you an Edwin Diaz guy?
Well, you see, I'm not a big signing closers and free agents guy.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, but you can go out and sign middle relievers in free agency, especially if you can get them for decent prices. And again, I think we went through this exercise last week. I wrote down a bunch of relievers who you could have gotten here.
Did Diaz get suspended for cockfighting?
Yeah, something like that. And he also got hurt too. So I mean that's one that if you want to play the whole "I'm glad we didn't sign Edwin Diaz" game like Buster did on the radio the other day, sure, I guess. Yeah. But at the same time, again, I look at guys like Jacob Junis making $4 million with the Rangers, who's got a sub-2 ERA. Hobie Milner with the Cubs, making 3.7 this year. He's got a 1.9 ERA. Scott Barlow with the A's, who got signed for $2 million. He's got a 3 ERA. Gregory Soto in Pittsburgh, he got signed for just under $8 million. He's pitching really great for the Pirates. Those are all relievers who Buster could have signed in this offseason and, would have made the bullpen better. And you would not have been spending that much money to make it happen. Clearly, Dan, they believe that they could develop some of these relievers internally. If there's one thing I would say this Giants organization has been kind of good at over the last 20-something years, is they've been pretty good at putting bullpens together. From the great championship bullpens to, even Farhan Zaidi, for all of his warts, one thing he was really good at doing was assembling a bullpen.
Yeah.
Almost too good at assembling because they leaned on it too much and they burnt those bullpens out every year. They've just, whatever expectations they had for this bullpen, Dan, maybe they thought that some of these guys would develop into better relievers. That has just not gone according to plan. And that's just kind of this whole Giants season where it's just nothing has gone according to the plans that they set. And I don't think they have any answer for how to right this ship and get back on the plan that they might have had anymore this season.
Well, I think that the problems with the Giants is sort of morphed. Like, we started with the fact that the team couldn't hit. I think that if last night's any indication, granted it's Colorado, but over the last couple of weeks, watching Devers come to the plate is fun now. Like, Devers just, somebody tried to go after him last night with a four-seam and gave him a fastball because that's been sort of the book on him, and he just deposited that thing out to center field for that triple. It's like you can't do that to him anymore. That was the book on him early on. You want to go at him with heat? Good luck, man. He's timing that thing right now. So Devers, the offense to me is beginning to hit, but now it's sort of morphed into, okay, we're hitting, but now the bullpen is so problematic that's now become, when you talk about the Giants and the laundry list of what's wrong, I think that's supplanted the offense as far as the biggest deterrent right now.
Well, it's going to rotate, and I think that we're going to see that all year long. It's going to be a rotating list of what the biggest issue is. We thought that base coaching was the biggest issue the other day, and 888-957-9570 is the number to call. You can also text us on the text line here, as in the 262. Giants baseball, how low can you go? Well, there's always a new low, so we're going to answer that question every week. We always talk about, Tony Vitello is not what's most wrong with this team. Hector Borg was not the biggest issue with this team. Logan Webb is not the biggest issue. Rafi Devers is not the biggest issue. 888-957-9570. What is your biggest issue with this team this year? I just want to get broad with it. What is the biggest issue you have with this Giants team this year in the year 2026? And what's making the season so difficult, Dan? Because, again, it's not even June yet. I just feel like Giants fans are just fed up with this. And I want to know what has Giants fans so fed up with this season. That's Dan Devone. I'm Sam Lubman. We'll keep the Giants talk going on the other side. It's the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. It's brought to you by Fairmont Bank. Here for you, here for good.
Everybody's terrible.
Hey, it's Dibs. The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every match from the opening stage all the way to the final. France is trading at 18% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade pays out $519 if they win soccer's biggest prize. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. And for a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code DIBS, D-I-B-S, to get $10 when you trade 10, K-A-L-S-H-I. Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 and over only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, use kalshi.com/regulatory.
All right, I need avocados, bananas, salad, steak.
Wow, does your grocery list have multiple pages?
No, but I skipped lunch, so now it's like my stomach is doing the grocery shopping. And besides, I'm earning cash back with Upside.
Upside? Upside? What's that?
Hold up, you haven't heard of it? Upside is a free app that gets you cash back when you shop at gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants. And they added Lucky and Food Max stores, so we're pretty much covered wherever we go.
All those stores?
Yep, so not only are we getting a great deal on groceries, now we can earn cash back as well.
Okay, downloading Upside. Now let me copy your grocery list.
Great news! Lucky and Food Max are now on Upside. Download the Upside app and use the promo code SAVE8 to earn a 10% cashback bonus on your first grocery purchase. That's promo code SAVE8 for a 10% cashback bonus. Use promo code SAVE8.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Let me ask you, are you still trying to figure this out on your own? Because when it comes to weight loss, DIY can only take you so far. At Jumpstart MD, we do it differently. Local clinicians, personalized care, real results. Plus, you'll get access to GLP-1 medications at some of the lowest prices in the Bay Area. And here's the best part. Mention radio and save up to 70% this May. Summer is almost here. Don't wait to get started. Call 855-JUMPSTART or visit jumpstartmd.com today.
You love your land. During Kubota Orange Days, you'll love all the great deals. With versatile compact tractors, professional-grade mowers, and durable utility vehicles, Kubota equipment can help you turn dream projects into reality. Kubota Orange Days is here, and so are the best deals of the year. Now through June 30th, get select compact tractors with 0% financing available or save up to $5,500. Sale ends soon. Go to KubotaOrangeDays.com or stop by your local dealer for more information.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Goodness. What a bad break that is, and hopefully Killian's okay. He kind of skidded to make sure he and Devers didn't collide.
And hopefully Devers is okay, too. He tried to make a quick snag and tag, and Devers still smiling.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, man. Dave Fleming and Hunter Pence on the call there. And just one of the...
Night, as Stephen Curry says.
Just one of the most brutal, hard luck plays you're going to get in baseball. It's great when those plays go your way. You know, Dan, whenever I see a ball bounce off of a base like that, I always think of Game 1 of the 2012 World Series where the Giants got one of those little dribblers.
Oh, yeah.
And I forget who it was who hit it. I want to say it was Gregor Blanco. No, Gregor Blanco had the bunt down the line, but I forget who it was. It was a little dribbler down the line. Might have been Scutero. Bounces off of third base and skitters away from Miguel Cabrera. And that was the moment I realized, like, oh, wow, Giants aren't just going to win this series. They're going to just mop the floor with the Tigers. It's great when those moments go your way, but a ball bouncing off the base, it's never a good omen when you're the team on defense. And you just knew in that moment, like, oh, Coors Field's about the Coors Field here. And what do you know? Another base hit and out, and then Hunter Goodman, just an all-time Coors Field towering moonshot. And
why did they even have to look at that?
I was just about to say, then that to have the gall to then challenge it, and you look at the replay, that was like 10 feet fair. Like, I guess.
It landed on a red tarp, which is in fair territory.
And, of course, you know, me being the... That's the worst. Like, what, you think it's like the magic baseball, like the JFK bullet, like the curving baseball? This time it's going to curve around the foul pole and then land fair, which I even think even that magical situation, I still think that's considered a home run since it lands fair.
There's no risk, though. I guess if you can do it, do it.
You just look stupid doing it. And Fleming said that on the broadcast. It's like, oh, you have nothing to lose here. Might as well check it out.
Yeah, but why did it take so long?
It was a long replay.
That's 10 seconds.
I mean, the minute you see, they had the one camera angle from out in the left field that showed it clearly landing on the tarp on the fair side of the foul pole. Yeah. I guess you're desperate for anything. Could you imagine if in the alternate reality where that ball actually did go foul and they have to call Hunter Goodman back after he had that celebration? It's like, nope, gotta get back in the box. Got to do this again.
You know what I just happened to see randomly on YouTube was George Brett when he had a home run call against him.
That was a pine tar thing, right?
The pine tar incident.
Yeah, it was, what was it, too far up the bat or something like that?
Yeah, they measured it actually. They took Billy Martin came out, they looked at the bat, and they actually put it on the plate.
Yeah.
And they measured it. And so the pine tar was too high up the bat handle or up towards the barrel.
Yeah.
And George Brett just goes nuts. They call them out, and Brett just absolutely loses it. One of the great moments.
No, that's I don't think we'll ever see a player actually take a legitimate swing at an umpire in a game. Or I'm sure someday it might happen, but that was a moment where you're like, wow, Brett might actually try and swing at this umpire here. You probably would have seen something similar to that if that ball had gotten overturned. Alas, that was not the case. And then a couple batters later, Caleb Killian just hangs a knuckleball or a knuckle curve in the bottom part of the zone to Ezequiel Tovar, who, Dan, the other day we were talking about in the morning roast, Shatsky and I, giant killers. Ketel Marte, he's a giant killer because he always just seems to do something that makes the Giants miserable. Ezequiel Tovar is another guy. He is a sneaky giant killer who has just always found ways to be a thorn in this team's side his entire career. The Rockies have a long list of those guys, and Ezequiel Tovar, you're officially one of them.
He's a good player.
Oh, he is. He's a very good shortstop.
Yeah, kind of sleepy good. A lot of people know about him.
Yeah, he can whack the ball all around the field. Yeah, just
sometimes, just to make the analogy, I was talking about the New York Knicks with Steiny yesterday, and sometimes, if you follow sports long enough and they're rejoicing and going nuts in New York and everything's working for them in New York, and I said, Steiny sometimes, because he was and Willard were trying to convince me that maybe they could be right at the end of the day, that OKC and San Antonio are clearly, the Western Conference is so clearly better than that of anybody coming out of the East. And I'm just saying, hey, listen, man, I spent a lot of time in New York, and sometimes, the basketball gods just come down and anoint you and saying, you know what, it's been a long time. 1973 was a long time ago. And just to make it analogous to the San Francisco Giants, sometimes the gods just come down and say, I'm sorry, man.
We're just going to screw with you today.
This is not going to be your year.
This is
and the ball's going to hit the bag, and then you know what's going to happen from that point forward.
Well, I mean, Danny, if you want to talk about the baseball gods blessing you, the Giants went on 3 championship runs that were built on the backs of some of the most nonsensical good break plays that you could possibly draw up. I mean, you can write a couple books about the amount of positive break plays. You want to talk about a ball going off the base. I remember in Game 5 against the Cardinals, the Barry Zito start, there was a comeback to Lance Lynn. He turns around, tries to make the play at second, throws the ball, and it bounces off second, goes into the outfield. That's when the moment, again, whenever a ball bounces off a base, you know something's going to go your way. When Lance Lynn threw that ball off the base, I'm like, oh my God, we're about to come back and win this series. Because that, if that's the breaks that we're going to get, like we're going to ride this to a victory here. So it goes both ways. Sometimes the baseball god's like, you know what? Today's your day. Other days like, yeah, we're gonna screw with you today. And
speaking of that Cardinal series, is the Ishikawa walk-off your greatest moment?
Ooh, probably. Yeah. It's probably one of the big just seminal moments of that whole run. Honestly, when you think about great moments, I always think about Ian Kinsler hitting that ball off the top of the wall in Game 2. That was always a fun one there. The Uribe Jazz Hands home run against the Phillies in Game 6. That more or less clinched that pennant there for the Giants that year. I mean, there's
good luck going upper tank at Philly.
A good luck moment that, just to add on to Sam's point, a good luck moment actually happened in the first game of the 2010 NLDS.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Buster Posey was thrown out trying to steal by Brian McCann.
Yep.
But the umpire called him safe. And the next hitter was Cody Ross, got an RBI single to left field. Posey scored. Giants won 1-0.
Posey even, I think, said after the game, like, yeah, I think I was out on that play.
He said, if we had instant replay, it wouldn't be a good time.
So that was Game 1 of that run. So, Dan, the Giants have racked up so many good luck plays over the years that they have just a massive tab to the baseball gods that they have to pay. And I am very much a believer in the nonsensical theory that there are otherworldly entities around this game that dictate what happened. I am one of those crazy people. Giants racked up quite a tab, and they're going to be paying it off for quite a while, unfortunately. 888-957-9570 is the number. What's just so frustrating about this Giants team for you, Giants fans? I want to hear from you today. Again, we take any and all Giants takes on this show. Because, Dan, I just feel like this Giants team, more than any other, it's testing Giants fans. It's testing Giants fans in a way that I have never seen this team test this fan base before. Like, I'm at a game a couple weeks ago against the Pirates, that 13-3 loss on Saturday night, and I'm watching that 7th inning that's just melting my brain, and I'm listening to fans all around me up in the third deck boo this team mercilessly. I sat in the stands that night. Heard a couple sell the team chants. I don't know if we're going to see that on a mainstream level yet, but I heard a couple in the stands that night.
What chants?
Sell the team.
Sell the team?
Yeah. Like, those are starting to pop up a little bit. I don't know if they'll ever get mainstream like they did with the A's games, but there's a lot of fans who are pissed off with this ownership. And then I'm at the game last Friday night against the White Sox when everyone still had their shirts on. I'm talking about that 4th inning when the White Sox sent 13 freaking guys to the plate. And again, lots of booing. Heard some sell the team. Yeah, some people screaming sell the team again.
Sell the team?
Like, that's how this fan base has just been so pushed to the limit by this team already. And again, it's still May.
Yeah.
Like, I have just never seen Giants fans just so exasperated, so broken down mentally by a Giants baseball team ever, much less this early in the season, Dan.
Yeah.
Like, Giants fans are just so down bad, and they're still showing up, which I love that. We're still showing up for this misery. Ownership should not take that as an endorsement of what's going on right now, that's for sure. She should take it as a sign that your fans do care, and you need to start showing that care back to them a little bit. But
let's just play the blame game for a second. If we were to unpack this thing, and we can put this out there, 888-957-9570. Who do you put at number one? Who do you blame the most? And your choices, you can name anybody you want, but just to sort of give you an idea, it's either Buster Posey, Tony Vitello, ownership, I guess, apparently. We'll throw ownership in there, and or the players. But who is it that we want to direct our ire? Like, who is...
Who's at the top of your blame power rankings, if you want to do it like
because
that?
It seems to be well spread out here. Is there anybody that you clearly put it?
Oh, no, I think this is, it's, I don't think it's a debate. Buster Posey, I think, sits at the top here.
Wow.
And that's very unfortunate. But, like, I mean, imagine if this was Farhan Zaidi a year and a half in, and this is the product we had a year and a half in under Farhan Zaidi. There would be torches and pitchforks being pulled out of Giants fans' closets. We'd be marching on Oracle Park demanding blood if Farhan Zaidi put out a product like this.
Yeah.
And we're not doing that, though, because it is Buster Posey. And big boss man Matt Nahigian, he threw out a question at us on the morning roast the other day.
It's an oxymoron.
What's that?
Big
boss man?
Anything big with...
Well, it's one of those ironic things. You know, like tall guys are called tiny. So big boss man said, you know, hey, look, I got an idea for you guys. You know, what is this season doing to Buster Posey's legacy? And we had this conversation a little bit on the morning roast the other day. I think overall, big picture wise, Buster's like, he's always going to be welcome at Oracle Park. You know, like, I don't think we're ever going to live in a world where Buster Posey is persona non grata down at Third and King. He's always going to be the 3-time World Series champion catcher, future Hall of Famer, one of the most beloved players in San Francisco Giants history. We will not be singing any songs about his time as an executive, at least not right now. He can always turn this around. I will give him that. He can always turn this around. But right now, I think Giants fans are pretty much under the understanding that, love you, Buster, I don't think this job is for you.
Okay, let me give you a scenario. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and let's just say he stays in this trajectory, and it doesn't go well for him this year. Next year, also another losing season. He and Vitello are shown the door. The experiment just didn't work.
Yes. Yeah.
For whatever reason, they're bringing back the 10, 12, and 14 teams, or there's some sort of a celebration at Oracle Park.
Well, 2030 will be the 20-year anniversary of the 2010 team, so that would be...
Perfect. And so let's just say this does not go well, and he gets introduced. Are you going to hear boos?
No. No, I don't think so. I think if Buster Posey and Tony Vitello are shown the door after the 2027 season, because that's when Buster's deal is up, is after next season. Yeah. He's got the 3-year deal. This is year 2 of that. If Buster is shown the door in 2027, when they have that reunion in 2030, like 2.5 baseball seasons will have passed by then, because they're not going to have it early in the season. They're going to have it later, probably in the summertime when it's warmer and more players are available.
And if the team isn't doing well,
Buster will get cheers when he shows. Now,
I don't know about that.
Is he going to get the loudest cheers?
Will you
Probably
hear
not.
any boos? Is what I'm saying. Like, you'll hear boos.
I'll say this, if you're the Giants fan booing Buster Posey at the 2010 reunion in 2030, like, maybe you just don't need to show up to that one. Like, I still think Buster holds.
No,
that
you're
kind of,
right. But,
well, I mean, like, were people booing Chris Mullin when between the era of his GM tenure with the Warriors and the Warriors' current run now? Because Chris Mullin, I think, is the ultimate comparable for Buster Posey in terms of a franchise legend stepping into that executive role and just flaming out completely. I don't think Chris Mullin was ever a persona non grata around the Warriors. I mean, they had Chris Mullin night at Oracle Park or at Oracle Arena, and the guy who got booed was Joe Lacob, not Chris Mullin. Like, Chris Mullin night was a night that people look forward to. This is in 2012, before any success had happened for the Warriors, where the ill effects of Mully's tenure as GM were still kind of fresh on everybody's mind. He was still beloved enough that he had his own night. And he was so beloved that he had his own night, and the fact that Joe Lacob infringed on that pissed off Warrior fans. So I think Buster is not going to get any boos at that reunion.
I'm not as convinced.
See, I don't know. Again, if you're that asshole who wants to boo Buster at the 20-year reunion for the 2010 team, like, just stay home.
Well, it's really go ahead.
What do you got, Steven?
I was going to say there's other stuff coming up for Buster. Presumably, he might get inducted into the Hall of Fame next year. Then I'd imagine there's a jersey retirement ceremony to follow to retire number 28. So there's some stuff coming up where it's like,
well, he won't get booed at the Hall
you
of Fame.
can't boo him at those events, right? It's for him.
Yeah.
So I mean, just something to throw out there.
if he's still the GM next year or the president of baseball operations next year, and what the team looks like is obviously going to be a big part of that too. Like, and they do his number retirement ceremony next year. That might, but again, I don't think Buster is, so Buster's eligible for the first time next year, right, Steven?
I think it might be this December.
Because it's 5 years after he retires. Yeah, so this is
December.
He's not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, as much as I love Buster, first ballot Hall of Famers are for like the, top tier, no doubt about him. You can't argue at all. Like,
Carlos Beltran got in. What the hell's going on?
Well, that wasn't his first time on the ballot.
No,
though.
I know, but why is Carlos Beltran a Hall of Famer?
I mean, the fact that I was told that cheating in the game is wrong, but when he does it, it's okay. But that's just an Astros thing. But again, I do think Buster's getting into the Hall, but it's not going to be first ballot. So we don't need to worry about the any sort of booing at any ceremony in 2027. Is Buster going to get the loudest cheers at this reunion? Probably not, but I think Madison Bumgarner's always going to get high cheers. But Bruce Bochy's always going to get high cheers.
Lincecum,
if Tim Lincecum shows up, then it doesn't matter who else is there. You're not getting a better.
Okay, let's rephrase.
You're not getting a better reception than Tim Lincecum.
If he did not become the president of baseball ops, then he gets the loudest. He and or Lincecum are getting the loudest.
Lincecum, I think, is always getting the loudest cheer at any event that he is at, because I mean, Timmy is Timmy. I mean, Timmy was just such a cultural phenomenon in this city during the brief tenure that he was really, really good. And
the fact he's sort of an enigma, I think, lends.
And then he disappears too. It's he's in the public eye so rarely that when you do see him, it feels like a special occasion. And so he's, whether on purpose or not, limited his public appearances so much so that he's not oversaturated with it.
Less is more.
Less is more. Exactly. He always leaves you wanting more with it. So Timmy's always going to get the highest applause no matter what.
Well,
I think.
The thing about booing, it's like you never know. Because it's sort of like when you least expect it, like, wow, didn't expect that. Sometimes the people voice and you can't really anticipate it. Listen, Pajemski's a decent player, but for whatever reason, man, he pushes people's buttons.
Well, when you call yourself the White Shohei and say that you're going to take the keys from Steph Curry and then you're looking off Steph in games, that's going to piss off certain sects of the fan base.
Yeah, but did you see him getting booed the way he did out at Oracle? Like
that was that kind of surprised me when that happened.
And just I know Mully's a good comp and better than what happened with Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan, I think we'd all agree, greatest of all time. I never get into that conversation. If you think LeBron James is, that's fine, but I think the consensus is he's either one or two.
I like Kobe.
Kobe, all right. Yeah. But you would agree that...
I'm in a very, very small minority.
But you would agree that Michael Jordan clearly
absolutely,
is
yeah.
a luminary when it comes to this sport. If you went to Charlotte and he gets introduced, ladies and gentlemen, for whatever reason, Michael Jordan, I tell you, there are people in Charlotte that are like, that's the worst and the cheapest owner ever. Nepotism, he used to hire his family. It's like, they hate him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And they hate him within that scope of just simply as an owner and what they perceive is what he did to the franchise. So I'm just curious that when it comes to Buster Posey, if this doesn't straighten out and the team is still a loser in 2030, there's a lot of frustration going around. Ladies and gentlemen, Buster Posey.
I don't think, again, with Jordan and Charlotte, there's no goodwill. Like if Michael Jordan owned the Bulls, do you think no matter, like, it's going to take a lot more for them to boo Michael Jordan in Chicago over his ownership being bad in this situation than it would in Charlotte? Like, if Buster Posey was the GM for the Twins and this was going on, there's no goodwill there. There's no reason to emotionally attach yourself to Buster Posey in that situation. So, yeah, in that situation, he would be persona non grata in Minnesota in this example, or any other team that he, didn't play for.
What's fascinating, and I think I mentioned this maybe to you yesterday or to Steiny, is that, we could take a call today and it'll be Fred from Milpitas and he'll say, Buster Posey sucks. And we're like, okay, well, what's wrong? Understandable. It's either him or Vitello. But if that dude was to have called 2 years ago, not only would we would have hung up on him, we would have just he would have been committed. Like, he went from Mays, McCovey, Will Clark territory to now where Joe from Milpitas can call in and say he sucks, and we'll take the call because, well, we'll hear you out.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, I think you can separate the player from the executive. Like, I can look at Chris Mullin and be like, you are one of the greatest Warrior players of all time. You are a rightful member of the Hall of Fame. Like, Mully, we love you. We love your insights. You're great on the Warriors pre and post game when you got to carry Bonte Hill on that show. Like, we love Chris Mullin. No one's ever going to sit here and be like, but man, Mully, you were a great executive. And I'm sure Mully would be the first one to tell you that he didn't do a great job as GM of the Golden State Warriors. Like, but Mully's still beloved. You know, so I don't think Buster Posey, I think we're always going to be able to separate the players from the executive. You could call in and say, you know, I'm going to get on the line, 888-957-9570, call in or text. You could call in and be like, Buster Posey sucks at this job. And right now, that is a factual statement. Buster Posey is not good at the job of being a president of baseball operations because the results that he's put out in this job have been beneath what you expect from them. And so, yeah, by that phrasing, he is not good at the job. That doesn't change the fact that he was still a great baseball player. It doesn't change the fact that his existence in this organization provided you with 3 World Series championships.
Certainly people will conflate the two.
No, I think it's the second that he's done running this team in an executive manner, he's back to Buster Posey, the player. We're always going to remember the time as an executive. And what'll really help is whoever comes in to replace him puts together a winning team quickly to wash the bad taste out of our mouth. Because I do think it...
Well, that's what I mean. If he's introduced and the team still sucks and he's 2 years removed and they're in the midst of a losing streak and they happen to have this ceremony, is there... some frustration directed his way.
I mean, again, I think people are always going to be frustrated. It depends on what the team is like in that situation. I'm looking up when Chris Mullin was the general manager of the Warriors here. Let's see if I can find where those years were. Okay, so 2009 is when Chris Mullin was let out of his contract with the Warriors as GM. Chris Mullin night was 3 years later. Which, again, if you go off that same trajectory, if Buster is not brought back after 2027, about 2.5 years later is when you're going to have the World Series reunion. Maybe you have a Buster Posey Day or something, and 2029 if he is into the Hall of Fame by then. So that'll be a litmus test too. What I'm saying here is that in the 3 year, it took 3 years from the Warriors to not bring Chris Mullin back to having Chris Mullin night, and he was positively received. I think a similar thing will still happen with Buster Posey, where if Buster Posey is let go from his position as president of baseball operations for the Giants, and then they have Buster Posey Day 2 or 3 years later, enough time will have passed. Because remember, the Warriors still weren't good from 2009 to 12. That's why I'm bringing up this little pocket here. Mm-hmm. If the Giants aren't good from the end of Buster to Buster Posey Day, depending on how much time's passed, like if they have Buster Posey Day that very next year, probably not the time to do it. But if you have in 29 or 2030, yeah, I think enough time could have passed that even if the team isn't good, Giants fans who, again, are a smart fan base, I think have enough wherewithal to be like, you know what? It didn't work out with Buster. We still love you. That's not the job that you should have done, but it doesn't change your standing in this organization. I think Buster is always going to be a revered person in Giants history.
Well, hopefully it doesn't come to this.
I mean, if there's any... It is the Giants. Like I said, there is no rock bottom. There's always there's always a permutation of events, Dan, that could play out that challenges this theory. I will be shocked if it's allowed to get to that point. 888-957-9570 is the number to call and text. Just so you know, we are coming to you live from the Laughing Monk Studios. Laughing Monk, Righteously Brewed in San Francisco. What is the most frustrating aspect of this season for the San Francisco Giants? I'm going to give you one of my big bugaboos about this team on the other side. Plus, Steve Risotto booked Dan O'Dowd, former Colorado Rockies general manager for Willen and Dibbs yesterday, and he said some things about Rafael Devers that have me questioning everything. All that coming in the next hour. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. That's Dan Devone. I'm Sam Lubman. Brought to you by Fairmont Bank, here for you, here for good.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. With burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and local service, our promise to the Bay Area remains the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
what if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Hey, it's Willard and Dibs for Safeway. Safeway is celebrating 100 years with you. Enjoy these amazing deals for members. And as always, save up to 20% weekly on hundreds of exclusive offers from Safeway. Just clip the highlighted deals from the weekly mailer or click the deals in the For You section of the Safeway app and breeze through checkout. Mix and match signature select chicken drumsticks or thighs. Value packs are buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. It's kind of like how you buy one host, get two.
And this is me right here. Enjoy a clip or click offer on juicy green or red seedless grapes for just $1.49 per pound. Limit 4 pounds. Lucerne, shredded or chunk cheese, 32-ounce selected varieties are just $5.99 each. Limit 4 items with a clip or click offer as well.
Safeway makes it easy for you to save money on the items that you already buy. Go to Safeway.com for more of the details, and we'll see you in the aisles.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at Amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEBNOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
Alameda County Fair in Pleasanton returns June 19th through July 12th with mouth-watering food and concerts, the Demolition Derby, and more. Save big with advance tickets at AlamidaCountyFair.com. For a chance to win tickets courtesy of Alameda County Fair, visit 957thegame.com.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Now back to the best Giants talk in the Bay. The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Yeah, it is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Sam Lohman alongside Dan Devone. Coming to you live on 95.7 The Game. We're also coming to you live on YouTube. And make sure you are signing up to become a Game Pass Pro member on 95.7 The Game's YouTube channel. Get access to private AMAs with the hosts, exclusive content from events, and in-depth insights after the biggest games. Go to YouTube, search 95.7 The Game, and sign up now to become a latest member of Game Pass Pro. Hey, maybe we'll do an AMA with Dan Devone someday. You ever do an AMA, Dan?
I don't even know what the hell that is.
Ask Me Anything?
No.
So we put you on YouTube, and we let our listeners ask literally any single question they could possibly think of.
That's not going to happen.
I think it'll be fun with you. You probably have, of all the hosts at this station, you might have the most interesting life.
No.
I think we can learn a lot of fun things.
I'm like Lincecum. I'm an enigma, man. I want to hide.
See, that's what makes it so interesting. We want to know if I could get into the mind of Dan Devone.
Do you want to be on top? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Pasta.
We could ask questions about swimming in San Francisco Bay.
Yeah, that's boring. I talk about that.
We can ask about what New York is like during the Knicks being good.
Well,
Vince McMahon.
Ooh, yeah, we can get all the Vince McMahon stories. We should do an AMA, but it's just Vince McMahon stories.
Yeah, well, our interactions were pretty limited, but they were somewhat entertaining.
Why he doesn't like Kevin Harlan?
That's a good one. Yeah, he went in on Kevin Harlan yesterday.
He's drunk.
A little bit. Yeah, I love that call there. Really quick, because again, you live in New York during the week. What has
not really, but I mean sometimes.
You fly back and forth between here and New York, right? Where in New York do you live?
Upper East Side.
Upper East Side? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Do you know New York at all?
Not very well, but I know Upper East Side's a pretty nice area.
Yeah, there's pockets.
Yeah. Like most neighborhoods in Manhattan.
70th and Lex.
Do you have a car? Do you have a car in New York?
No one has a car.
That's what
you want to hear a funny story?
I'm all down for a funny story.
I'm at a dinner party. My sister-in-law they're selling their house. So we're having these dinner parties for every day we were there. It was like 2 weeks ago. And so 3 kids are like your age. There was like a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, and another 20-year-old. Like my niece. And, one was at Notre Dame, one was at Wisconsin. And so they're all about the same age at the dinner table. You know what? None of them knew how to drive. None of them had been behind the wheel of a car. They were all Manhattanite kids. And you think about that growing up in San Francisco and California, you can't wait to get to 16 to get your permit. By 17, you're driving. 18, you're like, I got my parents' car. And by 19, you're just like, none of those kids had, not only did they not know how to drive, they didn't even want to drive.
Yep.
Like, it's adversely the way we sort of think of things out here when you're at that age.
No, my last girlfriend, she grew up in New York as well, and she didn't have a driver's license. Like she carried her passport around to identify as her identification, because you just think a driver's license is a basic form of ID, but no, you use that if you have a car that you're licensed to drive, hence the name driver's license. Oh, it's weird how that works out. Yeah, she did not have a driver's license. She was at a point like, I'm afraid to learn how to drive. She's 30 years old. And because it just she never needed to. She also, she would take Ubers and stuff everywhere, and she had a job that she was able to afford doing that. But it's just a wild way to live. She's like, I'm gonna go grocery shopping. I'm gonna take an Uber.
Yeah,
like that's
walk
insane.
Or you cab, or I'm a subway guy. Like, I'm a people person. I love watching the characters in the subway.
Oh, the New York City subway is something else.
I mean, I enjoy it. My wife hates it, but
understandable.
Then, cabs are, and there's not a lot of Ubers, and Waymo hasn't made its way out to New York City, but no one's driving.
There's no Zooks out in New York yet?
No. And what's nice is that you realize that when you're not driving, how it's so much stress relief that you don't drive. Like, there's a lot of stress in driving in California and San Francisco. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we'll drive around any city. That's why I hated, like, driving around in Miami. Like, one of the reasons why I didn't go a whole lot of places in Miami is, A, it's an expensive city, and your boy was a broke college student. But just getting anywhere in downtown Miami is a nightmare and a half.
Yeah.
And God forbid one of the drawbridges go up, then you're screwed for the next 30 minutes because the lights are so out of sync, and then it builds traffic up because you're waiting for this drawbridge to go up and then back down again.
Were you Coral Gables?
I lived in Coral Gables was when I was living on campus. Obviously,
Okay.
that's where the campus is at. And then I was in downtown Miami.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was right across from Bayfront Park my junior year. Which was a lot of fun. I love that apartment so much. I don't think I'll ever live in a place as nice as that place.
How far is that from the campus?
That depends. It really depends because, again, getting around that city is a nightmare, Dan. And I coined the phrase stuck at a green light because I'd be driving down US 1, which is the big roadway you have to take from downtown Miami to campus. I would say it's about a 20-ish minute drive with no traffic, but there's always traffic, so it's going to take about 30 to 40 minutes. And I'd be in a situation, the same intersections every single damn day as I'm going into to campus. It gets stuck at a light. That light's green. The light in front of it's green. The light in front of that one's green. So I got 3 straight green lights ahead of me, and yet I'm stopped because there's a light way down further beyond that's red that's holding all the other green lights up.
Oh, I hate
But then what happens is that light way down there turns green, but then the 3 green lights that I'm stuck at turn red. And so I still have nowhere to go.
San Francisco thing? Because Seattle was the same way. I'm like, why are your lights not synchronized?
Maybe it's just an every city kind of thing. Because, again, this was Miami. Like, Miami was the worst. Like, and my favorite is always there's the one stoplight that all day long, whether it was middle of the day, middle of the night, it was always like a 60-second red light. And I'd always hit it coming off the freeway, coming back from campus and downtown. And it's just like, it's 11 at night. And there's no one around me, and I'm stuck in this minute-long red light. Like, we can speed this up a little bit. We can change the timing on these lights here. The layout of Miami with the red light, with the stoplights and everything, it's one of the worst cities to drive around.
You know what killed me about Miami? I did a live shot there for a Super Bowl, and I'll never forget, it rained, but it rained so hard and was so torrential and it was so fast that by the time I had an umbrella at my side, by the time I opened it, which is what, we're talking about 10, 15 seconds, I was drenched.
Yeah.
It's like a bucket of water. It's not like gradual and this crescendo of like, oh, it's raining. Let's prepare. No.
It's just out of nowhere.
It's like literally a bucket of water on your head.
My freshman year, there was a, so the dorms are kind of towards the south side of campus, right by the baseball field. And the Biogenesis Clinic is right across the street, actually, from the baseball field, because we were talking about Ryan Braun earlier. And, the Biogenesis Clinic that he and A-Rod visited was literally right across the street from the baseball field.
That's right. That guy was from Miami. He was so dirty.
And so I walked out of the dorm, and right next to where the clinic was this Miami Hurricanes gear shop, or they called it All Canes. You can get Miami Hurricanes gear and stuff like that. And so my freshman year, me and my friends, we got this genius idea. Let's paint ourselves up for the Ohio State game. This could be my first home game as a freshman. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go nuts for it. So I'm going over to this store.
You're a face paint guy.
Oh, yeah. No, I got totally painted. I'll show you the picture at the break.
You're Putty from Seinfeld.
But I was never a big Seinfeld guy. Sorry.
Painted his face as a New Jersey Devil.
I'm walking from the dorms to this store, and it's about maybe a 10-minute walk from my dorm to this store. And I walk out the dorm, and I feel a couple raindrops fall. I'm like, it's not going to be that bad. I don't need to get a jacket or anything like that. La-da-da-da-da. 2 minutes later, just it's all over me. I'm just like, what the hell is going on? So I'm sprinting. I run in this store, drenched head to toe. And the problem is, Dan, this is still in August. And the thing about Miami in August is every single building is just cranking their AC to the max because it's so hot and humid outside. Yeah. So I walk in, drenched head to toe, and immediately just get blasted with this wave of freezing cold air. So I'm in the store buying like $100 worth of body paint because body paint's expensive for some reason.
I'm pouring wet.
Basically, as Shasky would describe it, it's like shivering there and just like this acidic rain all over me, because that's the rain is really acidic and kind of smells a little bit down there in South Florida.
Take me through body paint. How does your buddy paint you?
So the body paint things that we got, they were like these little like kind of like makeup trays almost. Kind of like I've never put on makeup, but I'm sure we've all seen women put up makeup. They had a little like thing that flips off, and they kind of like dab a little brush or something and put it on or something like that. That's not a great description of it. Basically, I had these little like circular things of body paint, and we just like rub them on ourselves.
All right.
Like we just take a thing and just I'm doing the motion on this auditory medium. You just rub it all over your body. And I was green, the other guy was orange, and then I had the orange U on my end. He had the green part of the U on his end, and we stood next to each other during the game and just looked like
guys, huh?
Oh my God!
I lather my body up
so long to scrub that stuff off that night. Thank God we won that game that night. One of the few wins I actually got to enjoy at Miami. This was 2011, so it was that year where Ohio State was like kind of in the whole tattoo thing was going on. So we won that game, luckily, that night. Lamar Miller absolutely just crushed Ohio State. And I at least a 40, 50-minute long shower.
It wasn't Lamar Miller, was it?
It was Lamar Miller this year. Yeah, was the
that
running
his
back at the
name?
time. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Duke Johnson came a year later. If that's the running back you were thinking about. But yeah, that was at least a good 40 to 50-minute long shower. I had to like borrow some guy's shower scrub so I can scrub it all off. That was not fun to get that paint off. Totally do it again though, but
the summers in Miami are brutal. I don't know how early you got there for school.
I was there in end of August, and from like end of August to like first week of October, it's brutal.
But if you're there, like actually none of the locals hang out. I mean, if you have enough money to get out of there. Sort of like New York. No one is in Manhattan. Actually, in Paris, no one is in Paris in August. Everyone goes to south of France. But in Miami, all the locals get the hell out of there.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
It is like, you talk about oppressive. Like that humidity is very different, even from that of the East Coast.
Yeah.
Like it's brutal.
I remember the first time I was ever in South Florida, this was in summer of 2008. I was attending a Boy Scout camp in the Florida Keys called Sea Base. And basically we were going to do like this week-long camping trip on this island out in the Keys. It was actually a great time, but we get there, it's the middle of July, and I'll never forget the first time walking out of the airport in Miami and taking a breath, like I felt like I was drinking the air.
Yeah.
Like that's how humid it was. Like you feel like you're getting little droplets of water when you inhale. Like that's how
gross.
thick the humidity was. And then I remember we get down to the Keys, we do our first night sleeping on this island. It had to be like 90 degrees out with 95% humidity at like 10 at night. We didn't have watches, so we didn't know what time it was. But I remember that first night, like I didn't even undo my sleeping bag. I just threw my little sleeping pad on the ground. I had like a towel that I put on my back to absorb the sweat. I'm just like sitting there in just like sweating tent, trying to fall asleep on this island in the Keys. It was a great time. I enjoyed it a lot. You know who also I enjoy is Adam in the City. He's moving down to Santa Barbara, but I asked him to call in one last time so we can call him Adam in the City before he becomes Adam in Santa Barbara. Adam, how you doing this morning, man? You're on the weekend wrap. I almost said the roast.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on, Dan. It's good to hear your voice. It's been quite a while. I'm actually passing Levi's Stadium right now. So
I hope you're driving the speed limit. Don't be doing a Brandon Ayuk here.
No, I want to get there safely.
There you go.
I wanted to comment really quickly on the driving on the East Coast thing, and Dan, I know you know about this, but we know how crazy, Bay Area driving is. SoCal driving is really bad. I will never complain about California driving ever again, having just been to a wedding in Long Island a couple months ago, and that drive from Long Island through New York City to get to New Jersey is terrible. Traffic-wise, just the drivers, I was like, I'm never going to complain about California drivers ever again.
That's hilarious. So did you go down the West Side Highway, or do you remember how you went through or traversed through the city to get to Jersey? Or did you just take like...
Yeah, so it was like what's it called, like the Belt Parkway?
Yeah, on the west side, yeah.
Okay, so I took that through the city, and then eventually got me to like the George Washington Tunnel, right?
Well, if you get to the George Washington Tunnel, you've made it, but I'm assuming that was difficult to do.
Yeah, no, it's just like super slow traffic. And I mean, if you want to try to get out of it in time, you got to be leaving like early. But anyways, I know Sam had messaged me about wanting to call in, and I just wanted to give a quick Giants take and ask you, Sam, like, how much lower can this team go? I mean, you have a 6-3 lead in the bottom of the 9th inning. Killian gives up 5 earned runs. You lose. It's like this team is demoting their third base coach. It's just like, this is just an absolute mess. I mean, man, I don't really see how it's going to get better. Like, I mean, they looked like they were playing well yesterday, and I'm at the point of, like, you fire everybody. Like, I don't really know what to do with this team anymore, because they just seem to find a new level of low every game. And, you know, the fact that it was news that we demoted a third base coach, it's like that. Like, I don't even remember the last time that's happened with another team in recent memory. So
I hear you, Adam. Drive safe out there. Appreciate the call. Again, that's kind of the fun thing about the whole there's always a new bottom, Dan, is you never really know what the new bottom's going to look like.
Yeah. Is he from Santa Barbara?
He's moving to Santa Barbara. He grew up here in the city. He's actually, he went to high school with Carter. My board up in the morning.
He's a Stuart Hall guy?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, no, Adam's a good guy. He's been calling in for a while.
Oh, heck yes.
So he even recorded a rejoin for us on the Morning Roast. He was actually one of the first listeners of the roast that I actually met in person. I think we connected on social media at one point. He's like, yeah, come see what's up to me at a Giants game. And that was, I think, back in 22.
So when you say Santa Barbara, you know who the San Francisco Giants are going to get at number 4? Kid by the name of Jackson Flora.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Rock Chorowski or something.
No, he's UCLA.
He's UCLA.
They have the Santa Barbara kid who, I'm telling you, man, whatever. I mean,
I thought maybe Rock was from Santa Barbara.
Video, but like, you know, striking out guys. This dude is just, he's supposed to be the
What's
next,
his name? Say his
Jackson
name
Flora.
Jackson Flora, he's a pitcher?
Yeah, he's like 6'6", right-hander, absolute gas. Looks like Skeens, just like Murkowski, one of those dudes.
If he's available, then...
Well, he's supposed to be.
No, if he's available at number 4, if it's him or Rock, I don't know who you choose in that situation.
I think Rock goes number 1. There's no way he slips to 4.
But if you can get this guy Jackson Flora at number 4, I haven't done a huge deep dive on the draft yet. I probably should. It's coming up soon. I got to vote, too. It's Election Day on Tuesday. California primaries. Don't forget to turn your ballots in, people.
When was the last big player from Santa Barbara?
Brian Shaw. No, I don't know. Brian Shaw played
basketball. You tell me. I feel like you know the answer to this.
I don't. I see Jeff McNeil. He was on there.
Okay.
Not a big baseball school.
Well, hey, I mean, he's having a good year for the A's, so. But Adam asked the question, how much lower can it go? When do you start firing people? I don't think you're firing anybody in season. I don't think that's going to happen. The fact that they're making moves on the coaching staff, like they're addressing issues, they're trying to do things that will hopefully lead to less mistakes, and less mistakes will then hopefully lead to more wins. I guess that's the working theory I'm going to go with here. The Borg news broke, and the first thing I get a text from my dad, who's probably on the golf course right now, which is why he's not calling in. Like, I don't think this makes a big difference. No, it doesn't. And I thought Willard and Dibbs broke this down perfectly yesterday. Like, when you get to a point where you don't trust your third base coach, you got to make a move. And I do give Tony credit for recognizing in a moment that you had to make a coaching change there, then doing it, because that's not always a guarantee that a manager or a head coach will make a change for a lesser coach or an assistant coach or anything like that in season. So it's good that they addressed that. It's not going to solve everything. In regards to firing more people, though, the way I see it, the trade deadline's on August 3rd. And Dan, you've talked about how, you think they should trade Luis Arias ASAP. I think you can make the same case for Robbie Ray. What this team looks like when the trade deadline passes on August 3rd is going to have a massive bearing on how long everybody else is employed. If we wake up on August 4th and this team looks very similar to the way it does right now, that's no bueno. You cannot do that. You cannot allow the status quo to continue if you're Buster Posey. You have to start making some very, very difficult decisions. I'm not talking about just trading Luis Arias and Robbie Ray. You're going to have to bite the bullet on one of your big contracts here. We had David Sampson on the other day on the Morning Roast. And again, say what you will about David Sampson's past as a baseball executive.
Yeah.
He's persona non grata in Miami. He's persona non grata in Montreal. He's not been a great presence in those cities. Let's just say that. But he knows how these front offices work, and he knows what it goes into what actions need to be made in a failing front office. Here's what he had to say in regards to the advice he would give to Buster in getting off of contracts.
I'd pay down the contracts and move them all and start young and start again and be smarter about the way you both hire your manager and sign your free agents and make trades. And again, it sucks. I've done it so many times. You pay players not to play for you. It is so embarrassing. You go to your kids' school events and they look at you like, you're paying Carlos Delgado to play first base for the Mets. I'm like, I know. It's terrible, isn't it? But guess what? It's the job we have. It's what we do. And delusion is such a big part of a front office executive's state of being. We always delude ourselves that we're better than we are, that our team is better than we are, that we're more important than anyone else because we have a certain job title. It's really, when you get distance from it, it's actually funny. But at the time, you really do believe that you know more than anyone else.
And that's something that Buster's going to have to kind of confront here, is the fact that he's going to have to make some really difficult decisions on the veterans on this team. And, Buster, he talked to Susan Slusser actually a little bit yesterday. We can get in this article a little bit more on the other side here, because I know we're coming up against the break. But
the bigger question how did that work out for Sampson?
Well, yeah, eventually he was shown the door. You can only do that so many times, but it's something you have to do.
I know, but
you can't dig in deep with Chapman and Devers and Adames when they're not performing. And I look at this quote from Buster Posey here that he told to Susan Slusser in the San Francisco Chronicle that came out yesterday. I have a extreme amount of belief in the guys that are out there. Matt Chapman, Luis Arias, Rafi Devers. I still think Harrison Bader's got the potential to get going, Posey said. Jung-Hoo Lee has his stretches. Elliot Ramos being hurt. Casey Schmidt has been a real added boost for us this year. If he wasn't playing so well, Bryce Eldridge or Devers could be rotating in and out, and that's a good problem to have. That he's playing well in regards to Rafi Devers. Buster goes on to say, what I try to remind myself is I also saw the same group get extremely hot last year too, so I know it's in there. I'm hopeful that they can get extremely hot and either stay extremely hot or limit the lows, because I know it's in there. I've seen it. These guys' track records are too good to have played the way that we have played. That was Buster Posey to Susan Slusser yesterday. And listen, he's not going to just come out and say, yeah, these guys are cooked, they're done, let's pack it in. Like, you're going to show support for your guys, but if Buster truly does believe that, that's a problem. Because what are you seeing from this team that's making you think that there's a magic switch in here that's just going to get flipped? Even if these guys do start playing up to their potential, Dan, you're probably looking at this team playing 500 ball the rest of the way. And because even at this best, if this roster, if everything went well, this was probably an 85-win team at best, which means they're playing slightly above 500 ball in a best-case scenario. In a best-case scenario the rest of the way, slightly above 500 ball, you're still going to be anywhere from 8 to 10 games under 500 at the end of the season. You're still not going to be a very, very good baseball team. So to sit there and be like, oh, I believe in the track record, they could turn it around, blah, blah, blah. Sure, in theory, yes, but this season is way too far gone for you to be planting your flag in track records.
So is the game plan then, and I'm not opposed to this, so then we're accumulating prospects?
I think right now what you're doing is you're just trying to alleviate a roster crunch. The biggest issue I think fans
have... But in order to do that, you have to get something back.
I think what you're getting back, we can get in this more on the other side.
Is this the addition by subtraction?
This is the addition by subtraction thing here. And this is where I want to get into the Rafi Devers conversation on the other side. Because Dan O'Dowd said some things yesterday really made me reevaluate how I feel about that Rafi Devers trade. But in short, Dan, like, you're going to have to move off of one of your big three contracts. I always focus on Matt Chapman because then you can get Casey Schmidt at third base and get Bryce in the lineup every day. You're going to have to eat money. Like, that's just the reality of it. Like, you're going to have to eat money, and you can say, oh, I want to get a prospect back. Like, I don't know if you have that privilege. You're so deep in the stink right now that you're going to have to make some unsavory decisions to get yourself out of it. And as David Sam said, that's part of the job. Like, for better or worse, that is part of the job that you have to deal with.
Cut your losses sooner rather than later.
And you got to be able to admit when you're wrong. And if Buster can't admit that he screwed up, which I think he can admit that, I think you saw a little bit of that last year, Like, you can't keep digging this hole. Like, you can't. You're going to have to make an unfun decision to get out of this hole, and that sucks. The moral of the story is, though, you're not supposed to be in this situation. So we'll keep this conversation going on the other side. It's the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. It's Dan Devone. It's Sam Lubman. Brought to you by Fremont Bank. Here for you. Here for good.
Hey, it's Willard and Dibs for Safeway. Safeway is celebrating 100 years with you. Enjoy these amazing deals for members. And as always, save up to 20% weekly on hundreds of exclusive offers from Safeway. Just clip the highlighted deals from the weekly mailer or click the deals in the For You section of the Safeway app and breeze through checkout. Mix and match signature select chicken drumsticks or thighs. Value packs are buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. It's kind of like how you buy one host, get two.
And this is me right here. Enjoy a clip or click offer on juicy green or red seedless grapes for just $1.49 per pound. Limit 4 pounds. Lucerne, shredded or chunk cheese, 32-ounce selected varieties are just $5.99 each. Limit 4 items with a clip or click offer as well.
Safeway makes it easy for you to save money on the items that you already buy. Go to Safeway.com for more of the details, and we'll see you in the aisles.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
Don't miss Smashing Pumpkins and the return to the Bay Area on November 8th at SAP Center with the Rats in the Cage tour. Buy tickets at Ticketmaster.com and for a chance to win your way into the show, courtesy of Live Nation. Visit the contest page at 957thegame.com.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills. Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
A cool and crisp Modelo tastes good. But you know what tastes even better? That survived the evening rush Modelo. That post-12-hour shift Modelo. That fought for every rebound Modelo. That just clocked out on a Friday Modelo. That Modelo you earned is just better. That Modelo is the markable fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Summer is coming. Are you ready? If you're still trying to do it on your own, it's time for a smarter approach. Jumpstart MD offers local, medically supervised weight loss with personalized plans and access to GLP-1 medications at our lowest rates. This isn't DIY. This is real care that delivers real results. And right now, mention radio and save up to 70% this May. Start now, not later, and get ahead of summer. Call 855-JUMPSTART or visit JumpStartMD today.
You listen to 95.7 The Game for the best sports insights. Now, use that same power to grow your business. When you advertise with us, you're reaching a massive audience of local consumers and business decision makers every day. Let our team help you build a game plan that delivers results. Scale your business and win the market. To get started, visit Advertise with 957 The Game at Odyssey.com. That's Advertise with 957 The Game at AUDACY.com.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, start spreading the news. It's the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap with Sam Lohman and Dan Devone.
Go Knicks.
There we go. Feeling confident about the Knicks?
I am.
Game 7 tonight.
I'm the only guy apparently here at 95.7 The Game.
Just keep it going, baby.
They were pushing you on your Knicks faith yesterday. You held your ground.
That's fine.
I'm listening. It was like, oh, he's battling. You landed the plane. I was like, all right, Dan. I love the faith there. Game 7 tonight. Do you have a preference on who you want your Knicks to face?
Yeah, I'd love to see San Antonio. Just because of the intrigue of having Wembanyama on that stage would be fun.
Yeah.
Plus, they're a little younger, and I think a little bit more vulnerable than that of OKC.
Well, I mean, obviously, OKC's been there, and you don't have to worry about the refs as much if it's the Spurs and not the Thunder. I think it'd be funny if the Thunder won and then immediately had to start breaking this team up because of the NBA CBA and how punitive it is on team success, and what better reputation of just how stupid the NBA CBA is, that a Thunder team that should be a dominant force in the NBA for many, many years, they're going to start breaking that team up. And I know they got draft picks, but you still got to hit those draft picks. It's just the absurdity of the modern NBA.
Well, it's the reason why MLB in just about every metric has surpassed the NBA as far as popularity in terms of revenue. And think about where Major League Baseball was just a short 4 or 5 years ago. Like, nobody's watching it. The millennials are out. It takes too long. The rule changes have worked, and they have spiked financially. Obviously, this is going to come to a head with the CBA and what have you. But the NBA, meanwhile, has headed in the other direction with flopping.
Yeah.
And I know they got the big television deal, but try and watch an NBA game. I don't know what the hell it is.
It's tough. It is tough to watch some of them now. And baseball, again, we saw both sides exchange figures in the early CBA talks. Again, the deal expiring this December.
Why do they make that public? Don't air your dirty laundry.
I don't know. It's because they're trying to put pressure on each other.
Yeah, they're trying to get the
players. Yeah, the players put out what they want. Oh, owners give them what they want. The owners put out what they want. Oh, players take what's given. It's all PR stuff. That's how these battles work.
I know, but to me, I'm like, get behind closed doors. Lock those doors, figure it out. The other thing is with the economy and the way things are going right now, and you're throwing out those numbers, this is what we want as a minimum wage. I'm like, I get it. You deserve it. But at the same time, just think about, read the room, people.
Yeah, your fans are, putting water in their shampoo bottles to make them last longer so their money can go a little bit further. But, let's make sure we have, you can add a couple more million to your minimum salary there. Talk about the Giants getting 8-6 walk-off losers in Colorado last night. Dan, fun fact, did you know that was just the 6th walk-off home run the Giants have given up at Coors Field ever?
Seems like 56.
All right, I saw that number. It's like, that seems very, very low. In fact, last night was the 22nd time the Giants were walked off in Colorado ever at Coors Field. So, again, I thought that would be a bigger number.
So did I.
The home runs one, though, that one really surprising. Is the first walk-off home run the Giants have given up since Charlie Blackmon took Camilo Dovaldi in the second half of a doubleheader in 2021. That was a 7-inning doubleheader. Dan, I think I remember
those.
I was producing the night show. I don't know if it was when you and Shamari were doing the night shows or if that was still Covey and JD doing the final word. But I remember watching that game in the studio 95.7 and be like, wow, Camilo Dovaldi, I don't know if he's the guy. And then I don't think the Giants lost a game the rest of the year after that because that was the 2021 season.
One of the other ones that comes to mind is the one Nolan Arenado hit against
just about
Mark
to get
Melancon.
to that, yeah. That was, in June of 2017 is when he did that one there. And then, of course, the one that every Giants fan remembers is Ryan Spielborg's walk-off grand slam off Merkin Valdez back in 2009. And that's the one that I think haunts Giants fans the most. I tried to get Spielborg's on the roast this week. He was unfortunately not available. But again, we're talking about the current state of the Giants roster and what you do with this team going forward. How much lower can things get? And Dan, again, as I said before the break, you cannot keep the status quo going with this team. You simply cannot. This cannot be that status quo, as Steve Kerr might potentially say. You're going to have to make a move that you don't want to make. And it's going to probably have to involve one of your 3 or 4 high-priced players, because I think Jung Hoo Lee is in that boat as well. Steven Risotto had Dan O'Dowd yesterday, former general manager of the Rockies. When was he the GM, Rizzo?
Probably all throughout the 2000s. I believe his tenure ended sometime in the early 2010s.
Okay, so he's done this job before, and so he came on with Willard and Dibbs yesterday and was asked to give his outside analysis of the team. And go back and listen to the interview on the free Odyssey app. It was a great interview. He had some really great insights there. He really was kind of struggling trying to talk about this team because there's not a lot of positivity to talk about with this team. Here's what he had to say, though, about the Rafi Devers deal.
I can't imagine the Giants moving forward with both of those players, and the player that they probably need to move is the one they just acquired a year ago. Now, I realize, how the hell are you going to move that guy? Well, he's 28 years old, and I realize he signed through 2033, talking about Rafi right now. I'm not sure that ballpark's a good fit for him. And I don't see him playing with the same freedom that he played with in Boston, that sense and air of invincibility that he had. I mean, this guy hit good fastballs all the time in Boston. He doesn't hit good fastballs right now. I think the ballpark's in his head. I don't even think moving in that gap's going to change that. And so I think they've got to figure out a way out of that deal.
And so that got me thinking, because I've had these conversations with friends of mine. We had, our friend Steven Ruderman in last week, who you got to meet. And he and I have gone back and forth on which of these deals they need to get off of. And I look at the Chapman deal as, because it's the least amount of years, the least amount of money, that's the easy deal to get off of. He thinks that the Rafi deal is the one to get off of. Just because of how long term it is. And my response is, I don't know how you're going to get off that deal.
Yeah.
But then I heard Bill Dowd say that, and it got me thinking about the deal as a whole. Everyone is saying that if you're going to move off this Rafi Devers deal, that you're going to have to eat a chunk of money, a big chunk of money. Because again, there's $290 million left on this deal that they have to pay for the next 8 years. But then that makes me think, well, hold on a second. A year ago, the Red Sox traded this guy, ate none of the money, and got 2 players back. Never mind the fact that the Red Sox pivoted off of James Tibbs and Kyle Harrison. That's immaterial in this conversation, this specific conversation. But they unloaded $290 million of salary and got players back. That's kind of a fleecing when you think about it. If you're going to get off an entire contract of that size and get players back, no, that's kind of ridiculous. I remember, this isn't a like for like, but it's kind of similar. In 2019, Farhan Zaidi got off of Mark Melancon's contract. There was a year and a half left on that deal, traded him to Atlanta, sent all the money over there, and got Tristan Beck in return. And I remember thinking, wow, Farhan, you just worked the Braves on that one. If you're going to give up a contract, get off a contract, and not take any of the money back, if you're not going to eat any of the money, you're not getting anything of value back in return, player-wise. At least you probably shouldn't. The relief that you're getting, the benefit that you're getting is not having to spend that money.
Well, I guess the difference might be that it's all circumstantial. The Giants are in the midst if they do this, it's a bit of a fire sale, right? They're cutting their losses. They're admitting publicly that we made a mistake by trading Devers for Devers. We need to get rid of him. Meanwhile, when you think it, and everybody knows that, so, okay, you're selling low here, so we'll buy from you, but you're going to have to eat part of the contract. Whereas, think about it when the Boston Red Sox traded the same guy, Rafael Devers. At the time, Devers was hitting well. Devers was Devers. The reason they were moving off on him was because of internal dissent or because of the fact that he was somewhat disruptive and wasn't getting along with management or ownership, what have you. And so it was entirely different. Like, if you want Devers, you can have him, but you're taking the full Devers. This is what the Giants are doing is entirely different. This is more of an unload, and this is more of we're in the midst of a fire sale with not only him but potentially Chapman, and everybody in Major League Baseball is aware of it. So the parameters, therefore, are different in terms of your demand.
Yes, and also the way that deal came together for Devers last year. Like, the Red Sox, it was going south with Devers, and I had Risotto pull this cut here. This is from last year. Craig Breslow went on the Greg Hill show on our sister station WEI out in Boston. This was the day after the Devers trade. He was asked to explain it and how the deal came together. And Breslow said that they were not shopping Rafael Devers when this trade went down.
I don't think I would say that at any point we shopped Rafi Devers. He's not the type of player that you shop around. Because some of these discussions became so public, I think the discussions between Rafi and the organization became so public, there are teams that check in to ask what our plan is. And there were a couple of instances over the past 8 months or so when Rafi's camp has signaled that a fresh start somewhere else might be best for both sides. And ultimately, this is where some of those conversations led to. But again, this is not personal. This is not the Boston Red Sox versus Rafi Devers. Rafi's has been an incredibly meaningful piece of this organization for a really long time and a World Series champion. This is about trying to do what we believe to be is best for the organization from this day forward. And I think we've outlined that pretty explicitly.
So that tells me, again, they were not shopping around, but teams were checking in and inquiring, which, again, that's normal for it to happen. The Giants approached the Red Sox and said, hey, things aren't working well with Rafi Devers. We'll take him off your hand for you and make things easier. I think we can make this like for like. You need to, or we can make this work out. You need to get off of this guy who's not working out. We need a power bat. Let's make a deal here. And for Breslow, that had to be a manna from heaven. You're telling me that you're going to allow me to get off this $200 million paycheck we have to write and give us players back? Like, we asked you who won that trade. 888-957-9570. How are we feeling about this Rafi Devers deal now, almost a year later? Like, I feel like we've been trying to talk ourselves into it. Rafi's not the problem. Rafi's hitting well. Rafi's being good. Like, this thought process makes me completely regret this trade, Dan, because moving off it's going to be a massive endeavor to undertake, and they are going to have to eat money. And unfortunately, I don't think there's another team that's going to be out there that's going to come to the Giants like, hey, let me take this problem off your hands. Like, the Red Sox kind of got a bit of a break when Buster came and took all that money. Like, people ask, like, oh, the Red Sox, they didn't get anything. They
was
gave
it
up on
about the
Harrison.
money at the time?
I think
it always is, but was it?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I think the players were immaterial for them. Like, giving up on Harrison and Tibbs like they did, I mean, that's a dumb move for them. The Red Sox won that trade the second they didn't have to write Rafi Devers another check.
But was it about the money at the time when you're talking about Devers, or was it more so the fact that they had reached a point where they couldn't go forward with one another in terms of the relationship?
Well, yeah, I think that's a part of it too. But I mean, when it comes to a roster sense, like the fact that, I mean, they could have eaten half the contract and that would still be even half of a $290 million deal. That's still an albatross contract's worth of money that's on your ledgers that you have to pay for. I mean, you're still paying $140 million or so, $145 million. Am I mathing that correct?
I just don't think it was on the table that anybody was going to eat part of the contract a year ago when it came to Devers.
I think when it's a contract that bad, you have to include, if you're going to send back 2 minor leaguers, 2 first-round picks, mind you. I think actually Harrison, was a second or third round pick, but you had a lefty who had big league experience, who was once your number 1 pitching prospect, and then you had an outfielder who was your first-round pick the year before. If you're sending back talent like that in a trade of that magnitude, you should not be taking on the whole contract. If you're taking on the whole contract of Rafi Devers, the financial assumption alone, the financial burden that you're assuming there, like, that's kind of in itself what you're giving back to the Red Sox. You're giving them too much back then when you give them players in return, when you're also giving them the financial flexibility that they're looking for, and also getting rid of an ego problem that was in their clubhouse at the time.
It's a little bit of 2020 hindsight, because at the time, Devers was a hell of a hitter.
Mm-hmm.
So you were trading players for players. You weren't even thinking about getting damaged goods. You weren't thinking about getting a player that hadn't hit over the last year and a half, which is what it is that you're doing now. So again, with that sort of baked into the deal is the reason why you're going to have to be part of that contract. A year ago, Devers was clearly one of the premier players in the game, and that's who you were trading for. So the idea of like, we're going to trade some minor leaguers for one of the best hitters in baseball, but you got to eat part of the contract, I think Boston would have hung up on you.
I think if you're still given, I mean, that's true. Again, if you're approaching them, that's also part of it. I think if the Red Sox did start to actually legitimately shop Rafi around, maybe that changes
things. It's all about leverage.
It is. And the Giants went to the Red Sox, and the Red Sox more or less had the leverage in that situation because, like, look, we're not trying to offload this guy right now.
Mm-hmm.
We've already financially planned for him to be a part of this team for the foreseeable future. Like, you're doing us a favor by showing up here. And that is what the Giants did. And the fact that the deal has gone as south as it has, it just kind of compounds on that, how bad this trade is looking like in hindsight. Yeah, sure. In the alternate timeline where everyone's playing well, we're not thinking about this. But unfortunately, we thought we were getting something else. And O'Dowd went on to say that, they thought they were getting a quote-unquote aircraft carrier with Rafi Devers.
The Giants have been big game hunting, as you guys know, for a long period of time, and they've had a really difficult time getting the guys that they've earmarked to come there, and very simply because it's a hard place to hit. It's like Seattle doesn't attract those kind of players either. I just felt like they looked at his age, and I think they saw how much money was owed to him, but just said, like, at his age, the kind of contractual commitments they made to other players that were older than him to try to get him to come to San Francisco. I thought they really thought they were adding an aircraft carrier. It simply has not worked out that way. And, just watching the kid play, he seems like he's not connected right now to the organization in a way that he was prior to this, in a way good players have to be able to perform up to their capabilities in any environment or situation. So, listen, I just think it hasn't worked.
Can it turn around? Is there potential for it to work? Does he need to get more comfortable in this ballpark? I mean, he was asked several times, Dan, when he got here, how do you feel about hitting this ballpark? And he used the same answer. It's just baseball. Baseball's baseball. You can play in any baseball park, which half of me likes that mentality. The other half of me is just like, dude, reality is going to smack you in the face at some point in the form of a 412-foot out. But, hey, cross that bridge when we get to it.
Well, if you want to unload,
we've gone to it.
Do you want to know some of the teams that might be potentially interested?
Yeah, who's a team you think might be interested in, Dan?
So, spending some time out there in New York. Hello, WFAN. If you listen to Sports Talk Radio out there, which is part of the Odyssey family.
It's one of our Odyssey sister stations.
So, they are hot on Devers. And at the trade deadline, there's a lot of let's go get Rafi Devers.
Really?
They need a third baseman. So, he would go back and play third base. And here are the guys that the Giants would get in return. There's a pitcher by the name of Brock Selvage, who I'm not familiar with, but he's a big prospect. He's a left-handed pitcher. There's a this guy I have heard about. Chase Hampton has been in the Yankee organization, seems like forever. And they've been talking. He's sort of like their Marco Luciano. Big pitcher, but he has some issues. And then there's a guy named Jack Aina, and he's a big home run guy. Big guy, huge guy. That could be a huge power guy, but just like any dude who's putting up big power numbers at the minor league levels, a lot of strikeouts.
All right.
So that's the talk. And to your point, because it's this version of Rafi Devers, the Giants are going to have to eat $80 million of that contract.
Honestly, if they have to eat $80 million of the $290, it's not actually $295 million. I think there's a little bit less of a number left on that deal. If all you're eating is $80 million for the next 8 years, so about $10 million a year, to pay Rafi Devers to make the Red Sox miserable, I'd take that deal in a heartbeat. I don't care what players you get back.
Well, you got to get some talent back.
No, you're going to get some talent back. But again, Dan, it's what you're getting back is the privilege to not have to spend as much money on that player. what you're also getting back is you're removing a roster crunch that you created. Because again, we talk about the big frustrations with this team this year. And again, there's a lot of them. One of the big frustrations I'm seeing from Giants fans this year is the usage of Bryce Eldridge. And if I told you right now, Dan, that every day for the rest of the year, save up a rest day here and there for the kid, every day for the rest of the year, Bryce Eldridge is going to be in the starting lineup, like, you're feeling that much better about the rest of the season. Not in the wins and losses column, but just like, if you're going to be a crappy team, be crappy with your future players out there, because then at least that gives us a window of something to look forward to. You know, and if I told you that Bryce Eldridge is going to be in the lineup every day the rest of the year, save a couple rest days, you're taking that in a heartbeat. And whatever you need to do to make that happen, whether it's moving Rafi Devers, whether it's moving Matt Chapman, whether it's moving Luis Arias, whether it's moving Elliot Ramos to make that happen, like you got to explore one of those avenues.
And I think the emergence of Bryce Eldridge may factor into this.
Yeah.
Like, again, it was only one game, but just watching him at the plate now, where he's got a little bit more command. You can see the growth. It's just like, that dude is so imposing to begin with. And if he starts putting things together and you got a new phenom, this may sort of like take care of itself. Like, he may push Devers out of
I don't know if he'll push Devers out of line. I mean, the one thing
is, I think that we should look this up, but I think players who are traded twice that make over, like, how much is left on the deal?
I've been going $295, I think, coming into this season. Let me look up the actual number while you talk.
There is some precedence here, but I don't think it's ever been done. Like, not to be traded, but to be traded twice, I don't think it'd be breaking new ground.
So let's see. There is how much is remaining. So it was a 10-year, $313 million deal. So I think there is $246 million left, I believe.
I think it might be 225. From what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it might have been 246 coming into this year is how much was left, and so, but yeah, 225, 246. It's a sizable amount, over $200 million, which is a lot of money still to move.
But Bryce Eldridge, if he's your guy, he's not your DH. It's not the future of your team is not your DH, a young kid like that. He's got to play first base at some point, and he's beginning to look the part, man.
$255 million. That's how much was left coming into this year. Sorry. Just want to put a bow on that little fact there. I mean, again, if he's I don't know if he's your everyday first baseman going forward, if he's your everyday DH going forward.
But do you want your phenom, your next, this quote-unquote savior, and if he is that guy, to be your DH?
I just want him to be in the lineup right now.
Plus,
at some point, you're going to have to move Rafi to DH full-time. And I think he could still be effective at that point. I know Rafi likes to be out there and playing defense, and that's a big part of his game. And honestly, if Bryce is just a DH and if that's how he provides value, like, there's been a lot of good DHs out there. I can live with that for right now. I just want him in the lineup every day. That's what I want right now at minimum, and then we can take things from there.
Hopefully that's been settled.
Well, they have a runway right now, but when Elliot Ramos comes back, they're going to...
No, that's what I mean. I hope that's been settled. That even with Ramos back, you guys figure it out, because that kid is not coming out of the lineup.
No, you cannot. It's at this point, like, if he does get into a groove, I mean, we talk about Casey Schmidt's kind of derailed this season with his emergence, because that's what kind of created this roster crunch here is Casey Schmidt is performed in a way that no one expected to this year, where you have to keep him in the lineup. If Bryce Eldridge gets hot at the plate, then it's, you put him on the bench at any point. Like, that's borderline riot territory. Like, he has to be in the lineup the rest of the way, and you have to be able to orient this roster in a way that allows you to do that without making any painful decisions. And so if you have to make painful lineup decisions, you're going to have to make painful roster decisions, whether that is moving Rafi Devers. If the Yankees will bite on Devers or Chapman, you have to do that. The problem with that is, like, no one's in a rush to get either of those players. Like, I think the Yankees are the Giants' best trading partner in that they can take on the money and they have a need at third base. Ryan McMahon's their third baseman right now. They got Paul Goldschmidt and Ben Rice as their first baseman. They're not pivoting off of those guys. No. So, but that's kind of the only team that I think fits up with you on either of these players. So we talked at the start of this conversation, who has the leverage? Giants don't have any here. And so this is all a long-winded way of saying, Giants fans, if you want one of these guys to get moved right now, you're going to have to just kind of buckle up and deal with the fact that they're going to be on this team for the next 2 months. And we're just going to have to hope that they don't perform as poorly over the next 2 months as they have already this season. I don't see this getting fixed in the near-term future. We'll keep this conversation going on the other side. That's Dan DeVoe, and I'm Sam Lubman, Steven Risotto behind the glass. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap, and it's brought to you by Fremont Bank. Here for you, here for good.
Alameda County Fair in Pleasanton returns June 19th through July 12th with mouth-watering food and concerts, the Demolition Derby, and more. Save big with advanced tickets at AlamedaCountyFair.com. For a chance to win tickets courtesy of Alameda County Fair, visit 957thegame.com.
Hey, it's Willard and Dibs for Safeway. Safeway is celebrating 100 years with you. Enjoy these amazing deals for members. And as always, save up to 20% weekly on hundreds of exclusive offers from Safeway. Just clip the highlighted deals from the weekly mailer or click the deals in the For You section of the Safeway app and breeze through checkout. Mix and match signature select chicken drumsticks or thighs. Value packs are buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. It's kind of like how you buy one host, get two.
And this is me right here. Enjoy a clip or click offer on juicy green or red seedless grapes for just $1.49 per pound. Limit 4 pounds. Lucerne, shredded or chunk cheese, 32-ounce selected varieties are just $5.99 each. Limit 4 items with a clip or click offer as well.
Safeway makes it easy for you to save money on the items that you already buy. Go to Safeway.com for more of the details, and we'll see you in the aisles.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. 'Cause 30 told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills. Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
A cool and crisp Modelo tastes good. But you know what tastes even better? That survived the evening rush Modelo. That post-12-hour shift Modelo. That fought for every rebound Modelo. That just clocked out on a Friday Modelo. That Modelo you earned is just better. That Modelo is the markable fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know. Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on oil?
We've got many markdowns on oil.
How about on that new STP Any Mileage?
You'll save $5 when you buy 5 quarts of STP Any Mileage with an oil filter and get up to 5,000 miles of protection.
Heck of a markdown for quite a lot of miles.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Don't miss Smashing Pumpkins and the return to the Bay Area on November 8th at SAP Center with the Rats in the Cage tour. Buy tickets at Ticketmaster.com and for a chance to win your way into the show, courtesy of Live Nation. Visit the contest page at 957thegame.com.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I left the pizza box on top of my car before driving home. Not smart. Oh, and a semi just turned my deep dish into a thin crust.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
I always love dancing to the music that Risotto plays when we come back, because I know on the YouTube chat where we don't play any of our music,
we look like idiots.
We just look like complete idiots. Like I'm just moving around like that. Yeah. I'm like, oh, what's he dancing around to? I'm not going to say it because that just ruins the whole bit. We're having fun here on the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap here. Sam Lubman alongside Dan Devone. We're trying to have fun, at least. We're having as much fun as possible, considering the Giants got walked off by the Rockies last night. The sixth walk-off home run allowed by the Giants at Coors Field in their history of going there. And Dan, I'm convinced that Coors Field was built with like black magic, meant to like torment the Giants. Because forget the walk-offs, just the amount of games I've seen there where a tight game just gets turned into an absolute just miserable laugher in one inning because of how quickly rallies can get going there at that ballpark. Like Spinoni yesterday was giving me grief on the morning roast. I'm like, oh man, yeah, Logan Webb at Coors Field. I don't know about that. He's like, oh, Sam, come on. Ye of little faith. Have some faith. Maybe Logan can pitch well. Or I'm like, it's Coors Field, dude.
Well, he did pitch well.
He did pitch well. Yeah. That is a good thing there. We saw a positive outing from Logan Webb. 4 1/3 innings, about 80 pitches. Probably would have gone longer if he weren't just coming back from a knee injury there. But I've seen enough games at Coors Field to know that nothing is guaranteed. The Rockies could be 0-161 on the season, and then that last game's at Coors Field. And it's like, no, they'll probably still find a way to win.
I'm not scared.
I don't care how bad the Rockies are. I don't care how good the Giants are, which doesn't apply this year. It's Coors Field, nothing is guaranteed there.
Let's go back to the blame game. So who's at the top of your list and why?
I mean, Buster Posey
is once again, it's ownership, it's Buster Posey, it's Tony Vitello, it's the players.
It's the players. You can throw anyone else you want in there as well. Sure. Who's at the top of your blame game? 888-957-9570. And also, just what's been the most frustrating thing for you the Giants fan, this season watching this team? Buster is still at the top of my list just because this is his team. Unfortunately, he's going to have to wear it. And I love Buster. Buster is still Buster Posey to me in the Giants' hierarchy.
So you're not booing him in 2030?
No, not at all. It's just listen. I love the fact that he wanted to take this position up and try and run this team. I think Giants fans were desperate to see a baseball touch with this team again. We have become so disillusioned with Farhan Zaidi's way of operating that like they were losing customers. Like, fans were not going to the game because they just could not stand Farhan Zaidi and the brand of baseball that he was shoving down our throats. Buster Posey was supposed to bring back more of what we had during the Sabian era.
Mm-hmm.
And in a sense, kind of. One of Sabier's big things was he loved going out and getting big-name players on the free agent market or in trades. One of the first big trades he made was trading away Matt Williams. And Saban, he loved his free agent signings.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this roster has just not worked out at all. And unfortunately, Buster put it together. Now, the big three, whatever you get out of them is it shouldn't be whatever, but it's whatever. The refusal to address the bullpen, the refusal to do more for the pitching rotation, it's why I came into this season thinking the playoffs are a big ask for this team. Because you had an incomplete lineup, an incomplete bullpen, an incomplete rotation, and a rookie manager. And expecting a rookie manager to manage a bullpen by committee, not just any rookie manager, a zero big league experience rookie manager, a rookiest of rookie managers, doing a bullpen by committee. That fact that Buster expected Tony Vitello to manage a bullpen by committee, which nobody likes a bullpen by committee. That's just malpractice to put your manager in that situation. So I lay a lot of this at the feet of Buster Posey.
Can you throw Hector Borg into that equation as well?
Well, the Hector Borg thing, and it's not just something that had to happen, because they did kind of force Borg onto Tony Vitello. Vitello didn't even meet Hector Borg until spring training.
No, but I mean, if Buster is responsible for bringing up a collegiate manager to take over a Major League Baseball team, isn't that sort of what it is he did to Hector Borg, who had no Major League experience and came from the minors exclusively?
So what I heard or what I read up about Borg is they gave him the third base coaching job. And again, it was a very late addition. He was the last guy added to this coaching staff. And as I just mentioned, Tony didn't even meet him until spring training. This was not one of Tony's guys. And again, this is another thing where I'm kind of, I'm shaking a stick at Buster here. As I shake my pen. That's not a stick. You should let Tony build his own coaching staff. That being said, you're not getting Ron Washington in that situation. That was definitely a Buster hire, and I think Tony's very much benefited from having Ron Washington on the staff. I think he's very much benefited from having Ron Wotus in the dugout for home games, and now Wotus is going to be the third base coach. Those are good coaches that he needs to have around him that Buster provided him. Hector Borg, though, what I read is basically he's very well-respected manager or coach in the minor leagues, very well-respected within the Dominican circuit. I think he was a manager or coach for the Dominican team, Risotto.
He was one of the coaches for one of their national teams. Not the WBC team, but younger players' national team.
So there you go. So he had a lot of credibility, Hector Borg, in his field as a coach, just not as a base coach. And I think Bags wrote this in his story on The Athletic, reporting the reassignment. It was just the Giants put him on the coaching staff because they didn't want to risk losing him to another team. That's why they did, which, now in hindsight, that doesn't seem like a great move there. Hector Borg is such a small blip, though, on the radar of problems for this Giants team. Tony Vitello was asked before the game yesterday about reassigning Borg. Here's what he had to say about that, though.
You guys know it. I don't have to say it, at least those that are familiar with him. One of the hardest working guys we have around. Certainly one of the most personable and just high character guys would be the easiest way for me to say it. And also he's been given a lot of opportunities by the Giants too. And this is one that was, for him, whether it was rushed or whatever it might be, he was kind of thrust into a big position. And I think it just, one thing after another, became a difficult environment for everybody. So I think in the long run, I think it can be a real positive for everybody.
I mean, he's not wrong. It's going to be positive for Hector because he can go back to a position that's more better suited for him. I mean, he was put in an unfair position. But again, where I lay the blame at Buster's feet here, Dan, is just he's created a team that's just not fun to watch. That's my biggest frustration with this team. It's June. It's not even June yet. And there's a part of me that's just can we just pack it up for the year? Just take the next 4 months off. We don't need to play those games. I've never felt that I've never felt like that at any point of a Giants season, let alone in May. And it's just, they're not playing a brand of baseball that captivates Giants fans. They're not playing a brand of baseball because Giants fans know what good baseball is. Mm-hmm. They've seen it. They've seen it with Buster Posey on the field. We are not a stupid fan base. We're not going to we're not going to convince ourselves that something that's bad on the field is actually good. And watching this game, watching this team, they have moments that are fun. they have wins that are fun. I mean, last weekend against the White Sox, he had some good moments there. The Bader Grand Slam was a fun time. The Rafi Grand Slam was a fun time. We joked about it with Casey Schmidt afterwards because he forgot that he was the last guy who hit back-to-back Grand Slams. But overall, though, it's just there's no joy to be felt with this team. I'm seeing fans who are just so broken down and miserable by this team. And it's just, and they're still showing up, which I love that. I'm still going to show up no matter how miserable this team makes me because I love this team that much. I'm still wearing my jersey today on the show. Dan, come September, the Niners have 2 home games in September that fall on Sundays, obviously, because football's played on Sundays. And the Giants have home games on those days. I'm going to be at those Giants games instead of watching the Niners because that's how committed I am. I'm going to be miserable, but I'm going to be there, trying to do my best to enjoy it. But this is one of the first times I've ever watched a Giants team, and I've watched a lot of bad Giants teams. But this is the first time I've ever watched a team and just felt literally no semblance of joy or fun to be had when watching it. And it just feels like it's a chore every night now.
But I kind of like watching this team in a weird way. I like their players. I know they're not good and they're not doing anything, all the things that you said are true, right? It's bad baseball, but I've seen other lineups that the Giants have rolled out there over the last 5 to 10 years. I kind of like, I'll run to the living room if Devers is at the plate. I just sort of like watching Devers hit. I like watching Jung-Hoo Lee hit. He's got a little something to him. Like Jung-Hoo Lee's got a little. And now with Eldridge, I won't miss one of his at-bats. That dude is fun to watch. Now that he's locked in, there's guys on this team that I'm like, I enjoy watching them play. I don't know, and I can't explain. It's beyond my bandwidth as to why they're not winning. But I've seen worse rosters, you know what I mean? There are some rosters in the Giants, after you got to the top 5, it's like, oh, God, really? I'm going to watch these guys have got, no pizzazz, no personality, and they're not good players. And then especially during the whole platoon with
under the Farhan era,
under the Farhan. But I think that when I look at the Giants and this team in particular, there's so many players that I just wish this worked because I like the chemistry, man. I like the fact that you have somebody from Korea, you have Latin players, you've got, you got your Chapman hard ass, and you just got, it's so well represented. It's a good representation. And there's players on this team that I just wish that they were playing better because I could see myself vibing with these guys.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a clubhouse that, again, I'm around these guys enough to it's fun watching these guys hanging out with each other and chatting with each other. They're the core, the foursome of Adames, Devers, Elliot Ramos, and Luis Reyes. Those guys were chopping it up in the clubhouse the other day. Of course, I don't.
Yeah, Reyes is another guy I love watching.
I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know what they're saying. But they were laughing up and joking around with each other. It seemed like they're having a good time.
And who's that redhead?
Yeah,
dude keeps asking me those questions with the long hair. Get him away from me.
Get him out of here. He's making us all look bad with his hair. So maybe it's something like that. And these guys have good times with each other. I don't think these guys resent each other or anything like that. I talked to Logan Webb a couple weeks ago. He's like, yeah, you go into that clubhouse, you wouldn't know that we were losing. I don't know how honest he was being with me in that situation because, these guys, they're not going to completely just open up their hearts about all the dirty laundry going on, especially when there's a microphone in their face. But all in all, yeah, I do think this team gets along with each other. But that's what makes it so much more frustrating, Dan, is just they're built like a team that should be better. We can't understand. I can't understand for the life of me why they're this bad.
But they're not boring. You know what I mean? I could give you other rosters in the past where you're like, I don't really care whether Fitzgerald gets a hit.
The 2023 team inspired nobody for anything.
But every one of these guys, even Adames, I want to see Adames hit. He's got flair. Every one of these dudes has got a little something. They just can't play worth crap right now.
But that's kind of what sucks the joy out of it is because there's a better level from this. There's a higher level they can play at. And even this last month, Dan, it makes no sense. Not the last month, but since May 7th. So this was after that Padres series. So this includes the Pirates series, the road trip to L.A., Sacramento, the 3 games in Arizona, 3 games against Chicago, 3 more games against Arizona, and last night. During that time, Willie Adames hitting .317 in that stretch. Jung-Hoo Lee hitting .333 in that stretch. Elliot Ramos, if he was around, he was hitting .323 during this time. Rafi Devers in this stretch hitting 291 with 4 home runs in that stretch right here. As I pull it up here, come on, internet, go a little bit faster for me. 4 home runs, 12 runs, 14 RBIs in that stretch. Your hitters are actually hitting over the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
And, Willie Adames said a line after the loss on Wednesday that, kind of elicited a little bit of eye rolls. But he was like, other than these games against the Diamondbacks, we've actually played some decent baseball lately. It's not completely wrong.
No.
If you take away those 6 losses against the Diamondbacks in this stretch of games going back to the start of that Pirates series, there are 8-6 against the not Diamondbacks over the last 2.5, 3 weeks.
That is a little crazy talk, though. I mean, the Diamondbacks they're a baseball team, and then your division. So, yeah, I mean.
No, I mean, it's, again, it elicited some eye rolls.
What he's saying, yeah.
But yeah, it's like, if you take out the games where we're bad, we're actually pretty good.
But to my point, when you think about these players, to me, and maybe it's just me because I don't know, I find sort of like there's some personality. I enjoy watching them. I'm not bored with the Giants, even though they suck. Let me just compare this. Like, would you, if the team was playing poorly, but you had to watch, would you watch Lamont Wade, Tyro Estrada? Would you watch J.D. Davis, Mitch Haniger, or not Haniger? Is it? It was Mitch Haniger.
Yeah, Michael Conforto.
Luis Matos, Michael Conforto.
Yeah.
Like, who the hell wants to see that?
No, those teams weren't very compelling at all. Those teams inspired apathy.
They weren't compelling, but the players are just like bleh.
Yeah, but also
or
those
meh,
teams,
as they say.
I mean, again, they didn't win, but they're still winning half of their games.
Yeah,
and I just a season with less wins is always going to be less fun than a season with more wins. I don't care what kind of scale you're talking about. A 60-win team is not as fun as a 70-win team. A 70-win team is not as fun as an 80-win team. 80-win to 90-win, 90-win, on and on and on.
I get it. I'm just saying these players are just. I wish they were playing better because they have a little.
But that's why I think this season becomes so much so less fun. Is the fact that it can be better, so you're just getting let down constantly. And whereas those teams played up to their expectations,
they're boring.
Like you knew
hell.
you were getting 500 baseball with those clubs, and maybe they nickel and dime a win together. Yay, whatever. With this team, it's just like, yay! It's like the kid who is really smart, but he doesn't apply himself, so he just gets straight Fs. Like, it's just so underwhelming. It's so disappointing, and to have a high expectation every night, and then to get undercut through 9 innings of baseball and have your joy kicked out from underneath you night after night after night, it's just exhausting to watch. And it's just, I don't know what it is. I think part of it is just it's a buildup over the last 10 years, Dan, where it's been 10 years of ineptitude. I mean, this is the longest stretch of ineptitude from this Giants organization since the 1970s, which you never want to be like the 1970s. Like, we've had droughts before, from 2004 to 2010, they didn't make the playoffs until 2010. There was 4 years of misery in between. But even then, you had the Barry Bonds saga to distract you. There was the bad years at the end of the 2010s, 17, 18, and 19, but you still had your World Series heroes on those teams to keep you company. The problem with this stretch of baseball here is just you have a playoff appearance in 21 that no one respects, but then you just got a series of rosters that you just haven't been able to buy in on. And they got these 3 players in Chapman, Adames, and Devers that are supposed to distract you from any rebuild that might be going on. Giants fans, I just don't get the sense, are embracing those players. No. Like, they're not embracing Matt Chapman. They're not embracing Willie Adames. They're not embracing Rafi Devers. They're cheering for him, but, they're never going to get that full-on embrace that past Giants players have gotten. And there's always going to be a lack of buy-in then from the fans because of it.
Tony Vitello doesn't... He's not that he's getting a pass, but I think, you talk about the blame game, and I think he would probably be on most people's, he'd probably be number 3 or 4, maybe number 2. I don't know. But he seems as though, there's a learning curve that I think people are allowing here, and they're also not blaming him because the team hasn't hit, and there's this sort of, what is it that he's supposed to do? But here's where I would go when it comes to Vitello. Just to sort of compare and contrast what it is that the Giants have and what other teams have. Did you see what happened with it? Is it Abner Uribe, the crotch chop?
Suspended 1 game.
I mean, the crotch chop started in the WWE. The Attitude Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
I believe it.
Right? It's very WWE-esque.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And so if you don't know what it is we're talking about, he was going back and forth with the St. Louis Cardinals in a game earlier this week, and he strikes out a St. Louis Cardinal. We're talking about this pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. His name is Abner Uribe.
I think we have the play. Risotto's going to pull it up. So.
Okay. Well,
he's got to. Why don't you set it up first?
So, anyways, he strikes out a St. Louis Cardinal, and then this pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, he looks directly at the St. Louis Cardinals bench, and he does the crotch chop. And if you don't know what the crotch chop is, it sounds exactly as it is exactly as it sounds. And I suggest that you go watch it on YouTube. But the point that I'm trying to make, do you want to go ahead and play this?
Yeah.
Strike 3 call. Burles is going to challenge it. Cardinals have 2 of them left. Oh, look at Uribe. See that? You better hope this is a strike. Oh, it was. And Burleson is retired.
I want to set up Murphy. So, anyways, go ahead and play Pat Murphy, and I'll make my point.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. Yeah, it's just unacceptable. I don't know what got over him. I mean, he's been an emotional guy, but that kind of thing, that's just not how we do things, and I was embarrassed by it. And, why are we doing it? It's 6-0 game. What are we doing there? And there must be something deeper that I don't know about. I love the kid. Believe me, I love the kid. There's so much good in this kid. He's been so great for us in so many ways, but that's unacceptable. So whatever's going on, you can't tolerate that for his teammates and for everything else. It's just not. It's not going to be tolerated. That's all there's to it.
And the point I'm trying to make, Sam, that's what a major league manager sounds like. That's what a major league manager, that's how you handle your business. Like the kid, we don't tolerate that. That's an authoritative figure. That's a seasoned manager that people respect. That's a guy that took care of this whole thing in one press conference. And as a player, as even somebody who doesn't play for that team or is not part of the organization, you look at the Brewers and go, that's pretty buttoned up. And so just to compare, when we think about Tony Vitello and where he's at, just to give you sort of an idea of what a seasoned major league respected manager looks like and then what it is that the Giants have in their dugout. Again, not necessarily going after Tony Vitello, but I think it's interesting to put the two side by side.
I do think it is fair if you're going to point a finger at Tony Vitello, and part of it is getting the moves he makes on the field. And I do think a lot of the moves he makes, again, Steven Risotto points this out, most managers probably making the same move. There are some procedural things he does that I very much do not like. The lack of using the bench is one of them. I brought up, we were in the green room out there, and I brought up, this year, Christian Koss was on this team's bench. He had an appearance on the mound before he had an appearance in the batter's box. Think how crazy that is to say. And it was 10 games into the season. Christian Koss, it took him almost 2 weeks worth of games to get in that bat as a guy who's supposed to be a pinch hitter or bench guy. So the usage of the bench, I don't know if it's paralysis by analysis. I don't know. I don't like that. Sometimes I think he's a little late in taking starting pitchers out. That happens. You get better at that. The having relievers go back out there for a second inning, I'm not a fan of that. It's working out in some cases, though. But I do think there is a very real question to ask about what kind of tone is Tony Vitello setting in this clubhouse here. And on the other side, I want to play something that Dave Fleming said about how much Tony is wearing these losses and how he's wearing them harder than anybody else. I get that this season's wearing on Tony Vitello, but when you're the captain of the ship, you gotta hold yourself kind of in a higher regard in terms of how you comport yourself day to day. I don't know what Tony is like after a loss behind closed doors. We don't get to see that. But I know we all know he's an intense and he's an emotional guy who is used to winning a lot. And I do kind of wonder, what is the atmosphere like behind the scenes sometimes? Because when he's talking about that first week, maybe I was a little too much and too intense with the fire and brimstone. He's thinking that he had this team too tense. The first week of the year, he's wondering if maybe he has this team to be too tense. That's kind of concerning there. So let's peel that back on the other side here. That's Dan Devone. I'm Sam Lubman. One more segment to go here on the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap, brought to you by Fremont Bank. Here for you, here for good.
Discover Silverado Resort, Napa Valley's playground for those who love to stay, play, and recharge. Tee it up with 36 holes of championship golf, rally on the tennis and pickleball courts, or train like a pro in the newly renovated fitness center. Restore in the refreshed spa and recovery lounge, and refuel at the newly opened Match Play kitchen and bar. With newly renovated rooms, it's the ultimate escape. If it's been years since your last visit, rediscover Silverado Resort, a renewed Napa Valley original. Book your staycation today. Visit silveradoresort.com.
Celebrate the vibrant cultures that make Silicon Valley shine at the free Mosaic America Festival June 6th at History Park in San Jose from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Experience multicultural music, dance, food, arts and crafts, vendors, and family activities representing cultures from our very own neighborhoods. Presented by Mosaic America in partnership with History San Jose, this joyful community festival welcomes everyone to come together in celebration, connection, and belonging. Learn more at historysanjose.org. J Vineyards returns as the official sparkling wine of the Golden State Valkyries, continuing its mission to uplift women across industries. J Vineyards and the Valkyries share a commitment to female leadership, ambition, and breaking barriers to support women who raise the bar in sports and beyond. So Valks fans, join us at the game, at home, or at Jay's Tasting Room in Healdsburg for a memorable experience. J Vineyards, raise a glass to excellence, on the court and in every bottle.
From carriage house to glass aluminum doors, R&S Doors has a full line of commercial and residential garage doors and gates to suit anyone's taste and budget. Visit rsdoors.com. R&S Doors. Look for the red truck.
Hey, it's Willard and Dibs for Safeway. Safeway is celebrating 100 years with you. Enjoy these amazing deals for members. And as always, save up to 20% weekly on hundreds of exclusive offers from Safeway. Just clip the highlighted deals from the weekly mailer or click the deals in the For You section of the Safeway app and breeze through checkout. Mix and match signature select chicken drumsticks or thighs. Value packs are buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. It's kind of like how you buy one host, get two.
And this is me right here. Enjoy a clip or click offer on juicy green or red seedless grapes for just $1.49 per pound. Limit 4 pounds. Lucerne, shredded or chunk cheese, 32-ounce selected varieties are just $5.99 each. Limit 4 items with a clip or click offer as well.
Safeway makes it easy for you to save money on the items that you already buy. Go to Safeway.com for more of the details, and we'll see you in the aisles.
With the new MyLowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like customer service associate at a dry cleaning shop.
Yeah, hi. I'm here to pick up my suit.
Ah, yes. Here you go.
There must be a mistake. This is too small.
It shrunk a whole lot. Look on the bright side. Now you have a suit you can give to a child.
This is the job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the Warehouse Club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know. Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
If life is a game to be won, then every child deserves to play on a level field. Children International is empowering young people in poverty on their journey by giving them the tools, the training, and the skills to shape their own futures. From the early days of development through all stages of growth and into employment. This is how, together, we can help end poverty for good. Learn more at children.org.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, yeah, final stretch here on the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Sam Lohman here alongside Dan Devone. Giants lose 8-6 to the Rockies last night in walk-off fashion, and that's just Coors Field for you. 888-957-9570 is the number to call or text. Who's at the top of your blame power rankings right now for where the Giants are at, and just what's been the most frustrating aspect of this season for you? If there's something else you want to talk about, go ahead. We'll take any and all Giants takes on this show. I like a little beat here as we do the show. Kind of like that. You don't really do that on radio. Like on TV, you see like First Take or whatever, MLB Network, they'll cut to like a montage or a highlight package while someone's talking. They play music while that person's talking. We never do that on radio. I feel like it adds such a nice little like undertone with the music going on while we're talking. I don't know.
Oh, you mean just do an entire segment?
Yeah, it was like a little musical bed.
Yeah. As we like to say in television, play it under.
Okay,
that's
what
music
it is.
under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it always sounds so good on TV, and we'll play the sound cuts, and they sound cool.
Under.
And, but I don't know. We don't do it on radio. Maybe it's because it'd be distracting. We listen to the music too much.
I was one of the first to do highlights with music under. Everybody,
really?
Yeah, used to just do highlights with just the highlights. I'm like, yeah, let's dress it up, man.
Oh, so you're the guy who started that.
Yeah, I don't know if I was. Maybe I was.
When did you start first
This is
do
in
that?
Seattle. This is like, I don't know, like 2010 around there.
Oh, really?
A true pioneer of our times.
Yeah.
I remember
we're
the
in front of
times.
greatness.
That's what Vince McMahon saw in you when he hired you to work at WWE.
Thank you very much. Yes.
This is Dan Devone saying,
all right.
everybody.
Let's move on.
Let's go to our friend Mitch in New Jersey. Mitch, glad to have you on the wrap this morning, man. It's Giants just driving us crazy, man. How are you holding up watching this team out there?
How you doing, Sam? Dan? Oh, Dan, you've been around many cities. What's poppin'?
Hey, Mitch, where the hell have you been, in all seriousness?
What's crazy?
Can I mean, you have no excuse. If you're not going to show up on a Saturday or call in, I need to know why. In all seriousness, where have you been?
Time is flying. It's going so fast. Especially little Jeremiah. My oldest one gives me a hard time, but it's okay. It's all love. I'm glad at least you can act out at home. Just don't act out in school, which is a year and a half now. I think daycare is the best time of their years. You know what I'm saying? You'll get there, Dan. Don't worry. And you too, Sam. You're young.
Let's hope so, Mitch.
Talk shows.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
Hey, Mitchie, before you get into your take here, I was telling Pasta, one of the legendary calls with you was a couple of years ago when I was doing the night show, and we didn't even know each other that well, but it's the call when your dog almost ate you. Remember that?
Yes, he's still around. I want to walk him.
But do you remember that call, though? You're like, I got to go.
I couldn't hold it. I couldn't hold it in. I had to let it out. Yeah, it was. I think it was a Saturday afternoon, talking to you, and he just. Another time he ripped my jacket. It was in shreds. I had to throw it in the garbage.
All right, let's go. Bo Bichette, what do you got?
He loves me in his way. Well, Bo and Josh, they're not doing too well. So I guess I put a jinx in them.
There you go.
But I love Tony. I love Tony Vitello. They will love him in New York. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What's popping? Also, Eldridge, 6'7", Encarnacion. These guys are Adam Dunn, Frank Howell. And it looks like they're just taking after their bad side, striking out. They can strike out as long as they hit some dingers, once a week or twice a week. That's not asking too much, is it? I mean, you guys should have paid up. It wouldn't cost you that much more to have gotten Judge and Harper years ago, but you skipped that part. Sometimes it's not good to be cheap. Usually is.
Mitch, how many people in the audience do you think know who Frank Howard is?
Yeah, he's my town. I don't think he's alive, but he was a heck of a player. Washington, Dodgers. Came up with the Dodgers. Struck out so much, but I remember his Mr. Quick commercial. Ohio State power forward. I think Oklahoma Thunder could use him today. But they're gonna win. They're gonna beat Mr. Wembanyama. Everybody's forgetting about how good SGA is. And remember, he was drafted by the Clippers, and he's only their second Hall of Famer they ever drafted. First one being Tony Gwynn.
Hey, Mitch, do you like the Knicks?
I'm hoping Knicks. I don't have any dogs in this game. I'm hoping the Knicks. I love Josh Hart. I love his game. Reminds me of Charles Barkley without the Wade, and Mitchell Robinson. Those are my takes.
Hey, if you actually want to meet me in person, I'm not going to the Garden, but for game 6, I'm going to be out at Central Park. They're putting Mamdami's got huge screens out at Central Park, and so I'm going to be out Central Park watching the game 6. If you want to join me.
And what day is that? Game 6?
It's on the 16th.
Schedule in front of me.
It's on the 16th, if there is a game 6.
You got to hope. You're gonna.
I'll hold this little spot for you on my blankie.
Well, Festivus Miracle. You never know.
You never know. Thanks a lot for the call there, Mitch. Yeah. That was Mitch in New Jersey there. So, all right, yeah, you and Mitch gonna watch some Knicks basketball together. That'll be fun.
He just had a Seinfeld reference for you there at the end. Festivus Miracle.
Oh, okay. I wish I watched. I know
Festivus for the rest of us.
I know that one. I was never a big Seinfeld guy.
Okay.
I mean, my dad's stepmom watched it all the time, and I've dabbled with the show here and there, but I'm not. My roommates out in Miami, they were all from New York, so they were all obsessed with both Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
A lot of New Yorkers out in Miami, right, at school.
Oh yeah, no, they all because it's cold up there, so they go down to Miami, and that's how they get their warmth. So that's how all of my friends growing up, or not growing up, but all my friends in college were from the New York area, even though I was in Miami. Again, we would talk about, who you're pointing blame at here on the state of the Giants right now. And we've talked a lot about Buster Posey and how many fingers he gets pointed at him. We haven't really talked about ownership that much today. Ownership absolutely deserves a heaping amount of blame. Maybe we can dedicate a show later this summer to burying ownership in their role in this. But talk about Tony Vitello, who gets some fingers pointed at him, not all the fingers pointed at him. I definitely don't think he gets the angriest of fingers pointed at him. I love how Giants fans have the wherewithal and understanding to realize that this is a season that is just so off the rails, you can't really blame the manager for it. But there are elements that, a manager can control, which is the tone and atmosphere in a clubhouse. Mm-hmm. And things seemed very, very good with this team back in spring training. Everyone seemed to be getting along. It was kind of hard to get a full read on this team because so many guys were out for the World Baseball Classic. So I don't know what this team was like in the week or two after I was there when they started getting guys back. We had Dave Fleming. He joins us every week on the Morning Roast. We had him on Wednesday, and we asked him just kind of about the frustrations of this season. And he talked about Tony wearing the losses harder than anybody else.
Tony doesn't need advice from me, but there is a part of this job where you got to fake, some enthusiasm and positivity sometimes. And I do think that it's an important quality to have in a big league manager. And I'm not criticizing him, but he is wearing it so hard right now that at some point that becomes detrimental to the whole group. It does. That is not a criticism because it's a natural reaction by him. And I'm not blaming him for being really disappointed with how things are going right now. But I think part of the learning process for him is going to be learning how to just talk himself into washing these losses off. You can wear it for an hour and then move on. And I think he's done a pretty good job of that, but everybody who's ever done this job can get better at that. And I think it's part of the growth process. I believe in this guy. I think he's going to be a really good fit in this job, but it's unrealistic to think that he and everybody around him, it's just going to be perfect right away. Like, it takes a little time to learn. It does.
So a couple things there. The second part is a part that I've kind of harped on for a lot of the year. It's going to take a while for him to truly get comfortable managing this team. But talk about the first part, though, Dan. I do worry that maybe he is wearing the losses a little bit too hard, and that's creating a tone in the clubhouse that's like just too tense, too much negativity. Like, when you're in a leadership position like he is, I do agree, you got to have to put a tough smile on your face every now and then. And I do wonder, he's talking about too much fire and brimstone, too tense in the clubhouse that first week. Is Tony kind of inadvertently creating an atmosphere that's making this maybe a little bit too more difficult than it needs to be?
That I wouldn't know because I'm not privy to the locker room, but I think what I took out of that from Fleming is that you have to have that short memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, you lost last night. It's a heartbreaker. Let's go get them today, boys, sort of attitude, right? But if you're still wearing what happened last night, it's not intensity. It's just not the right sort of message that you want.
Mm-hmm. You got to be moving forward, not dwelling on what's happened.
Yeah, you got to be upbeat. And what are we going to do today? It's just, and he's right. That's not something he could prepare for at Tennessee or anywhere else, right? Mm-hmm. And that's not something that Buster Posey could foresee. These are the things that, this is sort of on-the-job training, right? This is the learning curve that we're talking about. I think it's a really fascinating point, but I for the most part, I give this guy a pass. I mean...
I'm still not trying to throw him under the bus, but I do think there are elements that are a part of it, though.
Yeah, whether he's the guy that cultivates the culture right now. I think the only thing that sort of what it is, the reason why I gave the example of Pat Murphy being clearly the authoritative figure in that locker room, the way he was able to handle the Uribe situation is because when you think about a veteran-laden team and a young, inexperienced manager like that of Vitello, it's getting to the point where you've got to go to Chapman and say it's time to sit.
Mm-hmm.
And does he have the wherewithal to do that? And more importantly, does Chapman view him and or respect him where he's willing to do what it is that the manager says? Because let's keep in mind, at the end of the day, in terms of the pecking order, I don't care, Chapman, that you're a veteran and that you like to play every day. I am the manager at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And if you sit, you sit. That's sort of interesting to sort of monitor from this point forward.
Yeah, and I thought when the Giants called up Bryce Eldridge and Jesus Rodriguez, we heard, I think it was Fleming who brought this up, that Buster made the moves, but Tony addressed the team. And Fleming said that week that, these players, they do respect Tony because Buster has Tony's back. And Buster carries a lot of weight in that clubhouse. So if Buster's saying this is the guy, players are following in suit. And the fact that Tony was the guy reportedly who addressed the team after those moves saying, hey, guys might have to set egos aside here. He said this to the media afterwards, but I don't know what he said to the team, but he was the one who addressed the team. But then afterwards, he's like, these guys are here to play, Bryce and Jesus. Some guys might have to set their egos aside here a little bit. Like, that told me, all right, he's seizing control of this clubhouse. And then Dave said as much that week. Since then, though, he's not followed up on that. Chapman's got a couple of days off. That's about it. If this Elliot Ramos injury didn't happen, where he injured his quad against the A's a couple weekends ago, if that doesn't happen, I don't know how often Bryce Eldridge is in the lineup. I don't know how often he's expected to ask one of your big three to sit out a game. So that's kind of made things easier for him. This is all to say, Dan, if you're Matt Chapman and you have however much equity built up as a baseball player, when you look at the way you've been performing this year, how much leverage does that really give you? If you're going to say, well, yeah, you're going to sit me, well, I'm Matt Chapman. Well, you know what? Sorry, Matt, that doesn't carry as much weight this year as it would have last year with Bob Melvin. Tony's still your boss. He fills out the lineup to a degree. I want to get into that in a second. So, if these guys are going to be professionals and honest professionals, again, if Matt Chapman looks himself in the mirror and says, do I see an everyday baseball player right now? I mean, he can think of himself as that, but at the same time, if he's being brutally honest, he has to say no to that because the performance has not been everyday baseball player worthy.
Do you think maybe Buster overreached And what I mean by that is that you go from one end of the spectrum in the stoic, unemotional, low-energy, 60-something-year-old Bob Melvin, and you can understand what it is that he was trying to do. But then he goes and gets his polar opposite, a guy out of college, high energy that, Drew Gilbert is punching in the gut. I mean, like, it's almost as though if they found a happy medium between Bob Melvin and Tony Vitello, you'd have the perfect manager for the Giants.
I feel like the last 10 years have been I agree with you. Yes, I will say yes. I think the last 10 years have been a case of over-course correction. They refused to rebuild after 2017 when that season went off the rails. Bumgarner fell off his bike. And I've heard that the Giants around 2017, 2018, they had a potential deal with the Braves that could have been Madison Bumgarner for Ronald Acuna Jr., among others. Again, how legitimate that deal is, how close it came to being completed, I do not know, but I've heard that it was out there. How different would Giants baseball have been if they had made that move? They didn't want to rebuild then. They didn't want to get into analytics then. And then they over-course corrected with Farhan Zaidi. And then they were almost too analytical. So then they tried to overcorrect again by bringing in Buster, who was going to be more of an old-fashioned touch to it with analytics mixed in. You know, they go from an inexperienced manager in Gabe Kapler to a very experienced manager in Bob Melvin. They go from a low-energy manager in Bob Melvin to a high-energy manager in Tony Vitello. Yeah, Dan, I agree with you. Is it overcorrection? I agree. It's been a lot of overcorrection.
So you go from platooning now to where we can't get rid of these
static.
guys.
Yeah, to too static here. And then I don't know if you saw last week, Jim Bowden, you're not on Twitter, so you probably didn't see it. Jim Bowden sent out a tweet last Sunday. I want to wrap up the show with this. Out of nowhere, Jim Bowden tweets on Sunday, the Giants' handling and usage of Bryce Eldridge is the decision of Tony Vitello. GM Zach Manazian told me moments ago, we are all in this together, but the lineup decisions and construction is Tony's call. That was dropped on Sunday afternoon last week with no other context. No one else has really written about it. He didn't go on any of the talking head shows talking about it or addressing it further or elaborating on it. He didn't tweet about it again. Just basically Zach Manazian, in a sense, pointing a finger at Tony Vitello, being like, that's the guy. Be mad at him. That kind of finger pointing kind of concerns me because that speaks to dysfunction where you got miscommunications or guys saying, yeah, no, we're in this together, but this is the guy who's doing that. That kind of concerned me, but the fact there was nothing else on top of that, though, I also don't know how much weight to put into it either.
Who do you think makes the call when he wasn't playing and or pinch hitting? Was that Buster Posey or was that Vitello? I think it's Posey. I don't know.
I think Buster is the one putting this lineup together. I think Tony has say in the lineup, but I do think it is very collaborative. Here is Dave Fleming talking about what was said in that tweet.
I don't think there's anything controversial about what Zach said. I think what Zach said is basically affirming what the Giants believe. Like, we hire a manager, and that's a part of his job. I mean, every day I'm down there in the office. Every day there's a stack of matchup sheets that are coming in for Tony, and he's got all the info that he needs to figure out, like, you know, a lot of baseball teams use like the color coding stuff. So you get a grid of every pitcher and every hitter on both sides, and it gives you like bright red to bright green based on whether it's a favorable matchup or not. And the manager can make his call, and he talks to players and who's healthy and who's banged up and who needs a rest and who needs a little ego stroke and all that stuff. And I think the Giants want that to be the manager's job. And there's nothing more to read into that tweet other than that's their philosophy. They don't want to be one of these teams where there's a text sent out and here's your lineup today. They don't want to be that team.
So again, it's nothing that we already know. We know Tony has some say. I still believe it's collaborative. And obviously Flem, he's going to, you know, I want to say he's going to cape up, but I mean, I don't know if he's going to give us the exact dirty detail there. But yeah, I just thought that the fact there's no context on top of it, I have a hard time running with it in any sort of legitimate capacity there.
I also have a hard time believing that Buster Posey would call up Eldridge and then Vitello wouldn't play him.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. There's nothing that doesn't pass the smell test.
Yeah.
Here's what Dan O'Dad said yesterday about the whole Tony in the lineup card.
But I read an article where I think it was Zach talked about, well, the lineup construction in the use of roster is totally up to Tony. That's not our gig. That's totally up to him. Even in the non-era of analytics, going back to the beginnings of my career, that just was never the case. So if that's happening in the Giants, that's the first time ever for me. Because you're always having discussion with your managers about player usage and how best matchups. And it's even more prevalent in the game today because you can see pitch shakes versus swing pass. So you always know who the better matchups are. So I just didn't buy that. And so I read that in maybe poorly and wrongly that, hey, I'm distancing myself from that decision. When in reality, you all have to circle the wagons when you're going through this because really everybody is culpable. Everybody's had a responsibility, and it's going to take everybody to get out of the hole that you've dug yourself.
Before we get out of here, Dan, we got one more call on the line. You asked to talk to him. We made him call in. Let's go out to Sacramento and talk to our guy, Steven. Steven, man, we're going to close out the show with you. There's so much going on with this team. You were just talking about the Jim Bowden tweet from last week and, whether or not Manassian was pointing the finger at Tony. What did you make of that? You got Dan here, too, so say hi to Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Ruderman.
Thanks for having me on, guys. How are you guys doing?
Hey. Doing good, bud. Doing good. We're trying to do good, but as good as we can.
Yay!
Friday. I feel like they're setting Tony up to be the scapegoat. When I saw that tweet, my attitude is like, I just saw it, and I'm thinking, yep, they're setting him up to be the scapegoat. They're setting him up to be the fall guy. And so basically this is going to be, the fourth straight year now in which the Giants fire someone of significance at the end of the season.
I mean, that just seems so like it shouldn't be like that at all. Like the fact that they're pointing the fingers, it was weird just how out of context that tweet too was from Bowden with no follow up either. Like making Tony the scapegoat. I feel like people are smart enough to realize like he is going to be the scapegoat. You're not going to be able to pull that wool over our eyes here.
Well, no one in the Giants organization denied it. That's what pretty much told me this thing was real. And this is not Tony's fault what's happened this year. Buster Posey completely set Tony up to fail with an atrocious bullpen by adding Tyler Mahle and Adrian Hauser to the starting pitching. Tony was doomed from the second he stepped in, and none of this has been his fault. There have been some moves he made that I haven't liked, bringing in Matt Gage to face Ketel Marte last Tuesday. I do wish he would use Eric Miller more as the closer because I feel like Miller does have the stuff and the mindset and just the aura to be a closer. But this is not Tony's fault, and this is a real shame what's happened to him. And I feel like this would have worked under better circumstances. I really do. Yeah.
We were talking about Rafi Devers earlier, and Dan here, he's kind of in agreement with you on the Yankees being an option. Do you think, I don't know, how you look at Rafi Devers right now?
Well, Devers is perfect for the short porch of Yankee Stadium. The Yankees will add anyone that they can. If the Giants can get rid of that contract, and they're going to have to eat some of it, but if they can get Devers, if they can trade Devers and get some prospects, listen to, if any team reaches out to you and is like, hey, we're interested in Rafi, listen to them and see what you can work out. I'm dead serious about that one.
Got any questions for Steven here, Dan?
Yeah, Ruderman, who is, by the way, for those of you out there that aren't familiar with the young man who is a aspiring Major League play-by-play announcer on a fast track. I like his work. Will you please recreate the Giants win the pennant in the Ishikawa walk-off?
Funny thing about that, I actually imitated Russ Hodges' call word for word, so I don't think I can do that.
No, not Russ Hodges. I'm talking about Ishikawa.
I know, but when I did that, when that happened, and I was announcing off the TV, I actually imitated that word for word. I couldn't help myself.
Oh, you went Giants win the pennant 10 times?
Yeah.
Well, next time the Giants win a game of note, we'll have to give the call on that. Steven, thanks for...
Ruderman, can you give me anything? Any play-by-play for crying out loud? I can't talk to you without play-by-play.
Give us the call of Tovar's walk-off from last night.
Here's the pitch. There's a drive. Deep to left. And guess what, folks? The Giants are going to lose another. This one is way out of here. And the Rockies have won it by a final of 8-6.
Ruderman!
There it is.
Yay!
Thank you so much for calling in there, Steven. And with that, we will wrap up the Orange and Black weekend wrap there. I guess this was fun to talk about. I mean, it is fun to talk about this team, even though this team is just such a not fun team to be watching here. But hey, you know what? Maybe they'll win today, and maybe they'll win tomorrow. And let's just stop right there. And
no,
not
I liked your tease earlier. Fans, you think you've seen rock bottom? Hold on.
Oh, it's coming. I got a whole list of potential rock bottoms we're still to see here. We'll blow through the heart out here to get into it. But, you know, we got the Kyle Harrison game on Monday. We're going to get the 2 walk-offs against the Marlins in Miami in a couple weeks, the Gabe Kapler Revenge Series. We got another series in Arizona in July. That'll be a sweep. Coming out of the break, we got Seattle, Kansas City, and the LA Angels. Those are 9 games that, in theory, you should be able to, you know, get things going. Nah, they're going to go 2-7 in that stretch. We got a 4-game weekend series the first weekend of August. That'll be a sweep. And then we go to Cleveland in August, Dan. You know who's going to hit a walk-off in that series? Our old friend Pat Bailey. We know that one's there coming. And then right after that, we go to Boston that weekend. Well, you know, Rafi's not getting a hit that weekend through all the showers of booze that he's going to get. We got to go to Pittsburgh, so that always sets up the ever-present Brian Reynolds walk-off home run. The Dodgers, they're probably going to clinch the division against this team in late September. And then, of course, I'm bearing the lead here, Dan. We're still 2 months away from the trade deadline. Tarek Skubal is going to be on the trade market for the Tigers. You just know, I said this the other day, you just know the package that gets Tarek Skubal on the Dodgers is going to include James Tibbs.
No.
For all the fans who think last night is rock bottom, no, there's so many more ways this team can get even lower, and I will be here with you for every single painstaking moment because that is the kind of misery I put myself through. Dan, I appreciate you for sitting with me through this misery. Let's do it again next week.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Don't forget, Dodgers suck.
Later, dudes. Let it rip. Hang 10.
Hey, it's Willard and Dibs for Safeway. Safeway is celebrating 100